You are listening to Ultra Q, episode 57. My name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
The A in Ultraman Ace stands for A-Cast, because we're on a different host. Hello.
Hello. We're coming at you live from a different service.
A different studio.
A different studio. Joining us also, Brad.
Hello. So this is episode 57. This is now the longest I have hosted a podcast in terms of like numbered episodes. We've surpassed my old record.
Yeah, this is...
Was it the SMT?
Yeah, it was good old Cathedral of Shadows. Do not look it up. Bad SMT fan podcast from 10 years ago.
Incidentally, this episode also surpasses my old record of doing a podcast. My previous record being 56 last week's episode.
Oh, yeah. True.
Breaking records every week.
Welcome to Ultra Q. This is a brand new season. If you're new here, go watch Ultra Q. Go watch the show Ultra Q. Stop what you're doing. Ultraman Ace can wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, we're here to talk about Ultraman Ace every week. 3 episodes a week, except for 1 week when we'll be doing 4. I believe that's going to happen in the 20s.
Yeah, it's going to happen in the late 20s. You're fine. Late
20s. All right. For now, we've got the first 3 episodes of Ultraman Ace coming up. We have got a brand new gimmick. We got fusion.
Yeah. We got motorcycles.
Yeah,
I wonder if something was in the air at the time.
I was going to say, I was like, damn, there's a weird amount of motorcycles in this first Ultraman show aired after Kamen Rider hit. Looking forward to Hokuto and Minami stuff later in this episode.
Me just wondering, like, why do our 2 protagonists have like conspicuous scarves around their neck?
Yeah. We have 2 things that we have to do first. First, we have to do normal preamble. We talk about whatever otherwise we would get extremely bored just talking about Ultraman every week and nothing but Ultraman.
Yeah, we have Mirror Man too. You know, I haven't watched those episodes yet, but yeah.
But we have to break it up. We come with our own shit. I didn't do anything in the last week, so I don't have anything to talk about. But I know that Brad did something relevant to this podcast.
Hell yeah, I watched WrestleMania 40!
Fuck you.
Okay, so there's a timeline to my week, and I've covered it in full detail, god damn it. Literally hours after we recorded the Return of Ultraman final podcast, I hopped on a Discord call with some friends, and one of them's like, y'all want to watch the second night of WrestleMania? And I went, fuck it, I got nothing else better to do. Every now and again, there's a few people in that server who like care about professional wrestling stuff. I even when I was younger, I've just, it's never been my thing. I've never cared for it. I was that stick in the mud kid who was like, you guys know it's all fake, right?
It's not real.
Yeah, I was that asshole back at the middle school lunch table. And as I got older, I was just like, okay, like I know people that like this stuff. And actually, one thing that did help is that in high school, there was a kid I had a few classes with, and like that's what he wanted to do. He's like, I getting into professional wrestling. And a lot of I just remember like a lot of the teachers were like really like douchey about it to his face. And he ended up kind of fucking doing it. I don't think he's working for any like big major thing, but like he does that and makes a living like off of it. From what I understand. And I was like, oh, damn, follow your dreams. But that dude was really cool, and, like, he kind of helped me understand, like, oh, okay, no, there's some craftsmanship and, like, performance artistry here that, like, I can get behind and appreciate.
It's like, what if you filmed Toku live?
So, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like watching WrestleMania, because, I've appreciated it from a distance, but even when I've been, like, in the room while it was on, or in a call where it was on in the background, I've always been like, that's funny or neat or whatever, but, like, I never really got it. Watching WrestleMania 40, I think for the first time in my life, I'm like, oh, I get it. And And the moment could not be encompassed better than when Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns were fighting for the final match of the night, the big, WrestleMania title belt or whatever. Then suddenly John fucking Cena's theme starts, and John Cena runs in from off screen like a Final Fantasy summon. And then The Rock shows up, and then all the lights turn off, and The Undertaker appears behind The Rock. And then they all have like a little kerfuffle, and then the lights turn off and then on again, and those three fuckers are gone, and it's back to just Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns just laying on the mat like, what the fuck just happened? I mean, this is peak storytelling. This is amazing. So yeah, I had a good time watching wrestling for the first time in my life, and yeah, I was honestly like, this is giving me Toku vibes.
It probably helps that like that in kaiju stuff like Godzilla and Ultraman, the fighting styles are more like wrestling than the more like martial arts of like the Sentai Kamen Rider stuff too. So,
there is a way. Oh yeah, go ahead, Red.
I was thinking about Red King. I was just thinking about everything about him and his whole persona.
Yeah, he's the heel of Ultraman.
Yeah.
And like there is a way to fake blows and sell hits that, obviously is the safe and most efficient way to do that without anyone actually getting hurt. And that's obvious both in like Toku stuff that we watch and in wrestling. That's why it's so grappling heavy and stuff too, because it's easier to like do that and make it look really kinetic and impactful, but at the same time soften the blow as much as you possibly can with that sort of thing.
I do sometimes think about how the best fight in Ultraman so far is the Marucci episode in Return of Ultraman, where it's all filmed in one shot, so they can't actually pull it off with tricks. They just have to sell it, like just sell the fight. And it's like weird and kind of clumsy and clunky at the same time, and you can see them going through the motions and hitting their spots and stuff, but it still works.
Yeah. As a part of this, I've kind of like I've like looked into like some of the bigger wrestling story stuff before, just because I'm like, well, this is a cultural thing. I should have an understanding of like what the Montreal Screwjob was, which is like kind of a controversial incident from the 90s, or like
Mum's the Munch. Sorry.
There's another famous match where like they used to have like the big cages or whatever out and like cover the ring with it, and then they'd like climb on top of the cage and like wrestle and do shit up top there. And there's like a famous Undertaker match where he like choke slams someone, and like it was supposed to like, it was supposed to be all above like the ring on this cage, but because of how they secured the like wire fencing of the cage, he just choke slams a guy and he goes through the cage and like onto the ring below, falling like 15 feet. But there's like interviews with like the Undertaker where he's just like, I mean, yeah, at the moment I just kind of had to look down at the cage and not break character, but I was wondering if I just killed a guy. And it's like, damn, wrestling is wild. So yeah, I had a good time doing that. I also want to give a brief Honkai update. I am absolutely reaching the point where that game is slowing the fuck down. I have burned through all of the resources that the game gives you for, because whenever you take a break from these games, at least like the big ones, when you come back, they're like, hey, we noticed you haven't been playing for a while, buddy. Here's a bunch of free resources to get you back up to swing.
Yeah.
I've gone through all of those, and I'm now at that point where it's just like, I can only play this for at most a couple hours a day before I run out of shit to do that's, like, meaningfully having an impact on my account without, like, having resources. But I'm not yet feeling the pressure, really, to be like, oh, I should spend money. I wanted to get duplicates of the character that I recently was talking about, but I'm just like, whatever, fuck it, I can wait. Because I have stuff to, like, pull for other characters that I'm just gonna save up and try to do some more team-building nonsense. But, the events in that game are shockingly in-depth, and, like, I kind of had some experience with this from Genshin, where, like, one of the last Genshin updates that actually was, like, maybe the last thing that I really liked about that game before I was like, fuck this game forever, is they added, like, a card game. Like, they added, like, a triple triad, or, like, Queen's Blood, or whatever, like, Final Fantasy type, like, card minigame, and it was pretty good, actually.
So this is... Mel and I both know someone who was kind of automatically, by way of already being a card game nerd, kind of became like an organizer within this Genshin card game.
That's funny.
And yeah, what happened was the card game was really good. It's just that they didn't have any of the facilities that you'd want in a card game that every other game had, and needed and required. And so that was a nightmare period of her life.
Damn. I respect that game is good. I respect the hustle. It was like shockingly fun. And for a while there, it was the only reason I logged in to play that game, really. And then eventually I was just like, I can't play Genshin anymore. So Honkai's equivalent of this, first of all, I gotta say, and I've gathered this both from personal experience and from what my friends who have at least played both have said, like my deep in their gacha friends. Honkai is just better about keeping old events around for you to just dick around and play with. Genshin rotates that shit out, which apparently is sometimes annoying because there's like actual story tied to it. That makes it so that if you're catching up like I was, it's just like, oh, well, this next part of the main story kind of doesn't make sense because you missed the event that explained why like characters are doing X, Y, Z. And it's like, oh, that's great. Honkai's a little bit better about that. I completed the first one that they had in the game, which was a museum opens up in the first planet you go to, and you basically do like a business simulator thing, where you go on side quests to improve different elements of your museum, and you try to make it as profitable as possible, while also preserving different parts of the planet's history, and like talking to different specialists. I was like, this is fun. This is like a good way to like provide information about this planet and its people, while also doing like a fun little like side like game within a game sort of thing. The second one, which I am very impressed by, is a game called Ethereum Wars, which is literally just Pokemon. To the like you collect different enemy types that exist as enemies in the game. And then you build up your team. You have your own like different party screen and everything for this. And then you go around and challenge other monster collectors and like catch more monsters and stuff. And my favorite part of, well, okay, there's two things that I thought were really funny about this. The guy who is organizing all of this is a shady motherfucker named Giovanni, and I'm like, that's very on the nose. I love that. And then the other thing is that as soon as you do this event, and the Honkai main character is kind of a goober, like, to begin with, compared to, like, the Genshin one, who is very traditional hero. But, like, your main character won't shut the fuck up about being like, oh, I'm gonna be the champion, and, like, starts to talk like Ash Ketchum, and all of your friends are like, what the fuck are you going on about? It's really good. So I'm having a fun time with Honkai. But this all to say, I felt like I had a very normie week between the wrestling and the gacha game playing.
You
and
had
I was like,
to fix that. You had to amend that in the most dramatic way possible.
Oh, man.
So I finally broke out disc 1 of the 3-disc Akio Jisoji Buddhist Trilogy box set.
I'm going to tell you right now what this is on my hard drive. I was gonna watch it either yesterday or like this morning, and just didn't. So you know, go ahead.
Okay.
I look
what's the name
forward
of the
to
movie?
knowing what I'm getting into.
This movie,
Transient something.
This Transient Life, I've also seen it translated as This Passing Life. I think so. The proper title, like native Japanese, is Mujo, which is a Buddhist concept that either, again, could be This Passing Life, which is, I think, what it was released as when it hit, like, the international, like, film, like, you know, like, film screening circuit back in the day. Mm-hmm. Because this was probably Jisoji's most, like, in some ways, this sounds like this was Jisoji's, like, greatest critical hit in, like, that, like, film show, like, you know, like, screening side of the culture. But then I think when they released it more recently as part of this Blu-ray set, they decided to translate it as This Transient Life. So, you know, multiple titles. But this movie is the first of a 3-part series it's not really like they're not connected like by continuity. It's just like a thematic trilogy of erotic art house movies with Buddhist theming. And if you're going to watch this, I probably won't say too much. But I am going to scroll up to what I think I said in here after I watched it. which was, this is the most powerful piece of pornography I've ever experienced. So, this is the story of a man named Masao, who is terrible. He is just a corrupting influence on every person he crosses paths with in his life, including his sister Yuri, who he begins an incestuous relationship with.
Oh.
Classic.
And through the cover-up of that relationship, and the aftershocks of that happening, just proceeds to ruin multiple people's lives. And this whole time, I believe his name is Ogani, there is a family friend who is a Buddhist monk who sees them, like, fucking at his monastery, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And as this guy continues to have, like, sexual escapades to increasingly, like, terrible effects on everyone around him, this monk and some other people are like, we need to, I guess it's just really one other guy, is like, we need to do something about this dude because he is a problem. And the movie becomes more and more about a philosophical debate about whether or not the main character's actions are acceptable according to the tenets of Buddhism. And it goes back to the title of This Transient Life, where the protagonist is saying, well, the Buddha says our lives are fleeting and we should do with it what we will. And, like, if heaven is in a sense nothingness, I feel more motivated about what I've seen in hell. And, like, his idea of divination is very much so, like, if none of this matters, or he basically has this idea that, like, none of this matters if these spiritual teachings cannot be used to apply to improving our lives in the material, physical world. And then the Buddhist monk fires back, please stop using my spiritual beliefs to justify fucking your sister. There's a really... the main character is terrible, but he's also, like... They play him off as kind of like a snarky piece of shit in a way that's just like, oh, fuck this guy. Like, very early on... There's a point where the monk breaks it to him, like, hey, I know what's going on here. I think you're a monster because of this. And it's when the main character asks him for a letter of recommendation to go be the apprentice for a master sculptor of Buddhist statues. And he's like, can you write me a letter just saying, like, you know who I am and I'm a really great guy and, like, you know, you can help me get this job. And the monk's like, no, I know you're not a great guy. I'm not writing you that letter. And the main character fires back, well, all the more reason for you to write me that letter, because it's going to get me out of the house and away from my sister, am I right? And it's just like, oh, you piece of shit. And there is a film commentary, or it's not really like a true commentary, but it's more like a 20-minute, like, little audio essay over clips from the film, from a film scholar whose name is escaping me right now. I really should have written it down. It's like David something, but he talks about kind of the context for who Jisoji is and his experience working on stuff like tokusatsu. And his main argument in that audio essay is that he brought... Jisoji is someone who seems in his work compelled to bring the avant-garde to tokusatsu and children's media when he's working on it. But on the flip side, when he's working in the avant-garde space, he seems to want to bring his tokusatsu sensibilities to it in terms of how he frames things, and incorporating some more, like, mystical or supernatural elements, which I thought was interesting.
And that's why the Buddhist monk grows big and fights the guy's inner demons.
And, so here's the thing. This is one of those things that I would put up there with, like, Berserk and Belladonna of Sadness of, like, I think this is a very interesting piece of art. Unless I know someone incredibly closely and very well, I do not feel comfortable recommending this to, like, the average person I'm having a conversation with. The incestuous relationship starts with a rape scene that then, like... Also, I should say there's just misogyny littered throughout this thing with, like, oh, women are so easily corrupted by the sexual desires of men sort of thing, and they go on to further tempt men, and it's like a vicious cycle, and it leans into some very bad misogynist thinking. But, like, the incestuous relationship starts with a rape scene, and then they, like, becomes more, like, you know, consensual after she quote-unquote gets convinced, which is horrible. And obviously, like, pretty much almost every sex scene that is in this movie, which again is like 25% of this is just fucking, is like people who are blood related. So it's bad and off-putting. They are doing things with like the theme of taboo and like the latent horror of that and the societal expectations of, you know, why that's evil. And I do think that there is worth there. Like, and I understand why in like a, I keep saying film show, but I'm forgetting the proper name right now for like things like Sundance and like film festivals. Like, I could see why on like a film festival circuit, this movie was praised to death. But like, there's masterful craft here. Some of the greatest shots I've ever seen Jisoji pull off, which is already saying something. Very beautiful looking film in terms of like,
is there a fake sunset?
I don't remember a sunset, actually. Well, here's the other thing. It's in black and white. Oh. So there's not really, like, that usage of color that, like, sometimes we get with, like, the sunset and stuff like that, too. But, like, there's a lot more focus on, like, the landscape and, like, these people as they exist in the natural world. And, like, a lot of, like, very evocative shots of, like, these people living in sin and, like, a state of disorder. You know, juxtaposed underneath like Buddhist statues, and also like
you know what? I haven't seen a black and white Jisoji thing yet because he didn't do any ultra Q. Oh, yeah.
So cool. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm hesitant to say I'm excited to watch more. So here's the thing: the second one is, from what I can gather from the description, about a cult that recruits people via rape, which, like, I'm just like, but, you know, I'm gonna check out the other two at some point when I feel like I'm in a spot where it's like, okay, I can put up with this, but, like, the other two seem to have been, I don't think they had as much of a push towards the international scene, and therefore I just don't think there's as much English writing about them. I mean, already, like, Mujo is, like, I tried to look some stuff up about this movie just to see if I could get any, well, first of all, I should say, the ending of this movie is extremely, like, working within a realm of, like, supernatural Buddhist iconography that, like, I kind of had, like, 80% of the read there that I think this movie is trying to go for, but I did need to do a little bit of research about, like, what do specific, like, animals or like symbols mean in Buddhism as like a faith.
I see.
That helped me kind of like cross the hurdle there, and I'm like, okay, I think I get what this movie's final note is trying to get to. But just in general, outside of like some people with like WordPress blogs that haven't been updated since like 2012, not a lot of writing in English about this movie. So, but I had a very good time with it. Jisoji is a master at his craft, and, you know, outside of the distressing subject matter that, again, I do think he's leveraging for the right reasons, it, you know, that still doesn't make it an easy watch necessarily, but
so now yeah, when we say fuck yeah about these movies, we can mean it.
Yeah, at least for 1/3. So
Ken Kumagai was like, man, fuck these dinosaurs that I'll make, I want to do this shit.
So yeah, that was my week. Mel, what'd you get up to?
Okay, so there are 2 new shows that I was excited for that I started.
Sure.
But I'm kind of 50-50. I think maybe I'll leave them till next week and wait for episode 2 so I can have more talk. But just because like they're both extremely in the episode 1 is sure is set up right, kind of space. So and also I had another big thing bring to the table, so it might be more appropriate just to focus on that.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. So yeah, the past week, undertook a sort of project, bit of a sizable undertaking, perhaps kaiju sized.
Okay.
Here to announce that I'm monster pilled. I'm ding ding dong like King Kong.
Oh my god.
Because I've seen the entirety of Legendary's MonsterVerse movies.
Woo! Question mark.
These ones.
I've only seen that first Godzilla movie, and I think I was like, yeah, that's okay. I think I like it more than the average person, because if I recall, most people fucking hate that movie. But, how was your experience with the MonsterVerse?
I guess I had to say, that's okay.
Okay.
Our podcast.
Nice.
Anyway, so I'd seen the 2 Godzilla movies before, so this is a bit of a rewatch for me. I think, on the whole, those Godzilla movies are okay. I guess if I think about it, they aren't doing too much different from other Godzilla movies or kaiju movies, just based on what I've seen more recently. But I do think, stuff like, the protagonist is the U.S. military. Hits different when it's the context of it being the U.S. military and a U.S. movie, compared to,
Yeah.
And it's not like there isn't baggage with the Japanese military and all that, but, hey, let's go listen to our Godzilla -1 podcast. I think so much context changes from this being a Hollywood movie made in the US, and the focuses that brings. Also, throughout all these movies, there's an organization called Monarch, and I realized when watching, this is Matt. They have Matt in this movie, which is really funny. It's just like
Did you watch the Monarch TV show thing that they have now?
No. Okay. I wasn't going to do that in like a week where I'm watching 5 movies, so you can...
Yeah.
But I might do it. Some people say it's good, but so I'll think about it. But it's funny just, watching these movies now that I've seen Ultraman, being like, oh, wait, yeah. They just have the SSSP in this franchise. I'd say... Yeah, Godzilla... The first Godzilla movie is like, yeah, this is a Godzilla movie, all right. And just like, it's one of these. It's American. Bryan Cranston's in it for like 20 minutes. If you like Breaking Bad, or if you like Knock in the Middle, I guess.
Or Macross Plus.
Yeah, Macross Plus.
Yes.
The 3 groups of people who like Bryan Cranston. I guess I feel like it's easier to if I just go along with the rest of the movies. You got like King of the Monsters. I think came in between. I think Skull Island came in between the 2 Godzilla movies, but the order I watched them was the Godzilla movies I'd seen first, and then the new stuff. And yeah, I feel like maybe Godzilla 2014 feels like a consistent 7-ish, 6 or 7, and then I feel like there's more cool stuff in King of the Monsters, but also more eye-rolling stuff, because it's like, if it's technically the plot of the Nijikisaki Blazer 2-parter, where it's like, humans are the virus, so we have to release the kaiju to cleanse the earth, eco-terrorism, and it's like, I love Hollywood depictions of what eco-terrorism is. It's very good, and I'm sure, and in line with imperialist propaganda, and just like slowly building out the weird lore of like the kaiju are kind of animals, but also like nature gods / Earth's healing system stuff, which is weird, spinning a lot of thematic plates.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Godzilla in this movie, I don't know what to think of Godzilla in this movie. He's kind of alright. He's Godzilla, but also I feel like there's other incarnations of Godzilla. I feel like they have more personality. Can
I say, even though I haven't seen the movie yet, I do really like their Rodan design, specifically because of the magma cracked wings. I'm like, that's a nice touch.
Yeah, the Rodan. Some of the kaiju designs are cool. Some of them feel a bit... I feel like a lot of the MonsterVerse originals are a bit sauceless. I feel like there's something about... I feel like it shouldn't... I feel like it's accurate to call these like the Bayformer / MCUification of Godzilla in a sense. And I feel like that's reflected in some of the design sensibilities. As for like the news... I do like the kaiju depictions in the movies though. Kaijus are cool. Get into Kong Skull Island. First time watching this. I think it's probably the most interesting one because it's trying to do like it's set immediately after the Vietnam War and is doing like also a Vietnam thing where they go to the Skull Island for like one last job kind of thing and ends up being like clearly pulling from like, oh, this is kind of like the war continues in a way, but I don't think it's actually trying to I don't know if it's trying to do anything with that. It's just kind of like the vibes are interesting. It does feel weird that like Samuel L. Jackson, he does a good job in this movie, but he's like the commander who's like, he comes to his isle. He's escorting this crew of like an upstart monarch trying to like get the funding from the US government. By the way, more parallels with like SSP and like Matt, where it's just like, yeah, we need government funding and need the government not to shut us down. Except for whatever reason, Monarch is subservient to the U.S. government instead of the UN, which is maybe more true to like real life than whatever Super I was doing in the '60s. But
Monarch hasn't realized the game here. What you have to do is, you have to change your name every year for some reason.
Yeah.
And your entire staff.
And their entire staff also has to change their name.
Yes.
It's set like Conquer's Island set in it does. If I squint, it's like, well, I guess this is like the -1 of these movies because it is Vietnam War stuff sent back in like the 70s, and like they find Kong on an island, and then they find out the real bad guys are a different kaiju. But Samuel L. Jackson is like really against Kong because he killed his men and. His war is not over. It does feel weird to be put the symbolism of the US lashing out against its failure to win the war on a black actor, but and then we also get the problematic lore where we discover that the one thing that they decide to pull from the Showa Godzilla vs. Kong and the Showa Mothra movie is that for whatever reason Pacific Islanders worship them, and so there's a Pacific Islander tribe called Iwi who's integral to the lore, and their thing is that they, as we find out later in the other movies, they speak telepathically, so they don't actually speak verbally, which makes there's weirdness where I think they're trying to be more like trying to be less horrendously racist, but still end up being like racist in like the, you're trying to be positive, but you're still being racist way. The way they treat them is like this is the tribe that like is in touch with the kaiju and knows the magic and stuff like that. And it's like, well, this is still, like in Edward Said's Orientalism, you're still doing the thing. You're just like trying to be. You're just being less derogatory about it. And like all this eventually leads us to Godzilla versus Kong, where there's a whole movie spent about the confrontation about like Godzilla. They find out that so Godzilla's chilling around. But the concern is, like, if King Kong gets out, then because King Kong's being kept in, like, a Truman Show kind of fucking pen on Skull Island.
What?
And then,
okay.
Yeah. Except it's, it's not for people to watch, but it's for, like, Monarch to keep him under wraps and, like, essentially to protect him from Godzilla.
It should have been for people to watch. That would have been an instant good movie.
Yeah. And then... we find out the lore of the Hollow Earth, like Tales of the Abyss, where there's like a second Earth underground that there's a portal to, and it's like where all the kaiju live, which is probably their way of cinema sensing. Why is there a billion kaiju on this planet? Well, there's another one underneath, and there's lore about that, and there's like this company called Apex. I wonder what their philosophy is about. Where they're like, there's like allusions to Monarch being like, well, we don't want the government taking us over and then privatizing access to the Hollow Earth kind of stuff. I think it's more in the Kong Godzilla X new one, whatever. But there's shades of that of like corporations and stuff like that wanting to get in on the kaiju business. And there's one company, Apex is the villains, that they're like building the most sauceless looking Mechagodzilla I've ever seen in my life.
No.
Let me find it. But basically, the movie is about like the eventual showdown between Godzilla versus Kong, which happens like 2/3 of the way through the movie when there's like half an hour left, and then they fight, and then Mechagodzilla shows up, and then they team up to save the day, and go their separate ways.
I'm looking at this Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, do you have it in the chat? Yeah, no. Hold on.
No, it's not in the chat yet. I'm just looking at it online. It's mid. It's worse than mid.
Yes,
it's no Kiryu.
Yeah, it just fucking sucks. It's so bad. Like, I'm pretty okay with like the designs of the other Toho ones, but this one is just like, what are you doing? No soul. Worthless. That takes us to the new movie that just came out, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
Can I say, maybe one of the last few times I've gone to the theaters and that trailer has shown up in the trailer reel or whatever at the beginning. Every fucking time they start running side by side, I like want to die on the inside. I'm just like, I hate
so
this.
Funny. I love this.
Hate. It's perfect.
I love the Japanese tweet of there's a Japanese tweet saying about like how this makes me think that Godzilla and Kong will be friends, but because Twitter translate is terrible, the way it always translated it as like, and in that moment sex will begin. Yeah,
that's true. It's true.
Yeah, I do think that a bit surprised by the gay sex scene between King Kong and Godzilla, but compared to stuff I've seen in Venom, it's a bit tame. Yeah. This one's about like the new status quo after Kong versus movie, where it's like, oh well, the territory is Godzilla is on Earth, basically being chaotic good Ultraman. Where like kaiju show up and he just takes care of it, and everyone's just like, the day is saved, but the city's fucked. Excellent. He's just like, the point made where he's just like, Godzilla, yeah, he just really likes sleeping in the Coliseum for some reason. Italy has to deal with it. Meanwhile, King Kong's in his home, in Hollow Earth, trying to find his kind. But then plot happens, and there's like, oh no, there's an evil, the King Kong's lost race of the monkeys. They're around, and there's an evil one, and he wants to take over the Earth, and they have to stop him because this really is just fucking superhero bullshit. Because apparently at the start of in the previews, there was an interview with the director. He's like, well, for this kaiju movie, I wanted the drama to be centered around the monsters this time. And so I took that as like, oh, so you're what you're saying is, unlike other kaiju movie, this one's about the kaiju. And I don't know. I think probably the crossover movies are worse than the other ones, if I had to say objectively, but I think I had more fun with them because they're just absolutely ridiculous, even if it is kind of like MCU stuff. A lot of the same quips and stuff, some eye-rolling things, because it is, Hollywood. But also I think there is like weirdness where, because it is a Hollywood thing and changes the context as usual, like the original the first few Godzilla movies, because they're set in the US, it's like a kaiju movie set in the US, like a how Japan makes Godzilla movies, they're set in Japan. And so when most of the time in like the Godzilla / Kong crossover movies, it's like they're fighting in non-American cities and destroying things, it feels a bit weird to me when it's like, oh, you're really having a lot of fun destroying other cities, like Rio de Janeiro or Cairo, demolishing UNESCO World Heritage Sites, which I guess technically Gamora did in that one else with Ultraman, but it's Japan doing it to themselves in that case. It is just, it is fun. I think King Kong, you get enough personality out of him that he's like a fun... You like him as a protagonist in a way, which I don't think is as true about Godzilla, sadly, where he just... It is weird the way Godzilla is like almost feels like an animal as much as a character, but also like the whole movie he spent like, oh, Godzilla's just up to some shit and he's planning something for a reason. I mean, I don't know what it is. And then you find out later, oh, that's why he's doing this. There was a method to his madness, and it's like, well, interesting. But yeah, also this is where the stuff about the Pacific Islanders comes into full force with like the lore, where like they're like sort of like the keepers of the lore of the kaiju and the magic, and their ancient civilization city with like crazy technology kind of stuff, but also still feels orientalist because they're indigenous people.
Yeah,
that's I'm gonna spoil something from the movie because it just bothers me a bit. I feel like I need to talk about it. Where it's just like the main human drama thrust of the plot is like what the lead scientist protagonist lady, who's like kind of like a focus character in the other Godzilla X Kong movie. At some point in that movie, so in the Godzilla versus Kong movie, she may have been an existing character beforehand, but she's introduced in the crossover where she's now adopted the last of the Iwi tribe on Earth as like her adopted daughter. And then the new crossover movie, X Kong New Empire, they find the remnants of the civilization in Hollow Earth, and she's like, oh, I'm reconnected with my people and my culture now, and I'm happy. And like, there's like the tension of like, oh, will she go with her people or will she stay with the protagonist's mom? If you've seen the Hollywood movie, you know how it goes. She stays with her mom, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm sure for most people that's like a normal thing to have in your movie that's heartfelt. But for me, when I know the history of settler colonialism, and this is a white woman who's adopted an indigenous person, and they're away from their culture, and I know the history of, like, in Canada, the residential schools in 60s Coop, it feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
I think that feels weird.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It does feel weird to put this in your movie, and, like, to this day, indigenous people are still overrepresented in child services, and usually there's a track record of, being paired up with white families, and that's kind of a big part of like cultural destruction, basically. And so it's like, no matter how well intentioned, or it feels like, I don't think the directors or writers meant for that, but it sure displays like a lot of ignorance and on their part, I think, to put this in a movie, I think. Yeah, but the kaiju stuff's fun.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Kaiju filmmaking.
Yeah.
Continuing a long legacy of being very weird about indigenous issues.
Yeah.
While serving monster fun.
Yeah. Serving who? Monster
I did it
fuckers?
fun.
I mean, yes, there is a gay sex scene between King Kong and...
Well, I'm looking forward to when we eventually go back to, like, going through the Showa ones. That may be.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I'd be down to do that this week if you wanted to. I think I'm ready to dive back in. Okay. Which one do we have
We have
next?
Matango next.
Matango.
Yeah.
I think that's specifically also the one I requested we watch.
Yeah, I think so.
That wasn't on the list, because it's about weird mushroom things or something.
It's not like kaiju movie in the conventional sense, because it's like, it's more like
kaiju.
I
have the DVD right here. I'm looking at it.
I'll find the DVD on archive.org or something.
Yeah, it's in the same box set I bought Varan the Unbelievable and the Mysterians on.
I think one of those movies you shouldn't have bought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all three was like $5, so I'm not too beat up about it.
We should retroactively call the segment the Toho Timeout.
Yeah.
Like the Sentai segue.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think that's all I had to say about that. MonsterVerse, it was like, interesting experience going through kind of okay Hollywood version of these Japanese properties. Well, I guess King Kong's American, but, I don't know. It was fun.
Yeah, I have the DVD right here. I'm looking at it.
I think it's all I had to say about that. MonsterVerse, it was like, interesting experience going through kind of okay Hollywood version of these Japanese properties. Well, I guess King Kong's American, but,
Yeah, I do have a bone to pick with that Skull Island movie, and I feel like we'd be remiss if we don't reference this, because it doesn't get talked about a lot, and I like to bring
Jordan?
it up just so people are aware. But the guy
director?
who directed Skull Island, Jordan Voight Roberts.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I am cursed with having to see every fucking nerd being like, "Did you know this guy's making a Metal Gear and a Gundam movie?" That we haven't seen shit for both for, but then also, more importantly, on top of that, extremely accused of sexual harassment, and just people don't bring it up, and I think that's an important thing to bring up.
Yeah, and we're
not happy about that.
Yeah, we can't hear Red at all, which is
Red. We cannot hear you. Oh no,
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Everything's fine on my recording end.
Okay, that's good. What were you saying?
We got a very funny segment of track where every now and then I say something and it doesn't get any response, and I'm like, I guess I'm just I'm just not having a good day.
I think you should keep this all in the episode, partly because I also want to hear what you said, even if I didn't respond to it.
Yeah. It's
we're inventing a new experimental form of podcasting called delayed response podcasting, where next episode we'll piece the conversation together.
I gave up on a monster fucking joke halfway in because it wasn't happening.
Well, sometimes Godzilla has trouble getting up.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know if you had anything to say about my weird... Well, not weird, but like my indigenous thing.
No, just... Yeah, that seems fucked up.
Yeah. It's probably the worst thing about the movie, to be honest. It just feels like, wow, that's evil. You don't realize it's evil,
it's
but
like
it is.
It's like fucking... sometimes you steal a child, and now that child has to deal with it.
Yeah, it feels worse when it's like the child's like, yeah, I will go willingly with my white mother. And I'm like,
This could have, if you were really leaning in, you could be like, lean into the tragedy of this decision.
I think I just hire indigenous people to work on my movies for me and give their input.
I mean, it's not a cat. It's not necessarily like a catch-all solution thing, right? Because like I sometimes think about Killers of the Flower Moon and what people had to say about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's a movie from the perspective of the people doing the evil shit.
Yeah, I think that's true.
So yeah,
it's not a silver bullet.
But yeah,
but also I guess in this case they could have told you, yeah, don't do that at all. I don't know what the correct solution would be. Actually,
I mean, yeah. This isn't necessarily to say that I think that Killers of the Flower Moon is bad. This is not what I'm saying.
Some people might say that. I'm just saying some people might say that. I've heard some opinions who take issue with some of that movie, but but yeah, we have not seen that movie, so we're not talking about it today.
No.
But you know what we have seen?
What have we seen?
Ultraman Ace.
Have we? That's what we were meant to watch? Yes, we have.
I was worried
watched 3 episodes of Ultraman
Ace.
It's like that 3 seconds where you can hear Red's fear of God's wrath as they thought that they did not write a summary for the last episode of Return of Ultraman.
Yeah.
Listening to that back,
it's pretty good.
Man.
Yeah.
Page
break function. Fucking me over there.
It's like listening to the podcast I wasn't there for a few weeks back, where I get to hear in real time
when you wake up.
When I wake up, and I'm like, oh fuck, I need to send y'all the information for the episodes.
All right, we got 3. Oh god.
I was just gonna say, it is funnier that you woke up in the middle of the second episode and not the first one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We have got 3 episodes of of Ultraman 8. Oh no.
It again!
Oh no.
Tradition!
Oh no. Okay. Ultraman Ace episode 1
Nope.
is called... Oh.
This is the first episode of a season.
That's right.
We got production history.
It's the first episode of a season, which means we got to get through some stuff first before we can talk about the show.
Yeah.
Tell us about Ultraman
Yeah.
Ace. Why does Ultraman Ace exist?
Yeah.
How did it come to exist?
Because it's been like 5 months this fucking time.
Yeah.
Return of Ultraman was a whole thing, if you're new here.
It was a season of mishaps for Tsuburaya and us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so locking back in. Production history. Picking up where we left off last time. Sources again are the usual. Mill Creek Steelbook had a booklet. I'm using the Ultrablog DX, link in the description. Also, DeepL on Japanese Wikipedia, don't worry about it. And yeah, got some info for you. Now,
Shoot.
Return of Ultraman was a smashing success, and we got another big toku boom with kaiju, transforming heroes, lots of bandwagoning, things popping off. So naturally, as the show was winding down, and they were simultaneously figuring out what to do now that they replaced characters in that show, they also figured, well, we got to make a new show next. What to do for the follow-up? It is important to history. We're in a post-Kamen Rider world.
Yeah.
We got somewhere over there those weird guys who made the cheap-ass Captain Ultra show are eating our lunch with this karate bugman on a bike guy.
Yeah.
And how Super I gonna respond? Because, probably fair to say Kamen Rider is also contributing to this big toku boom as well. Maybe less on the kaiju front, but, there's also lots of transforming heroes going on around this time. So, Tsuburaya, as they do, got the 3 heroes of the age, got 3 scriptwriters to pitch a different pilot. First up, our main man from the last show, Shota Uehara, pitched a show called Ultra Fighter. Jun Amano is a member of the Ultra Rangers and becomes the 5th Ultra Brother.
Finally! Jun! The Jun show!
And becomes the 5th Ultra Brother to fight against the evil Dr. Takanaka, an outcast scientist who cures humanity and uses a kaiju control machine to attack. Funny enough, both the name Jun and Takanaka I just realized are names used for Kenji Sahara in previous shows.
Excellent.
Second, Shigemitsu Taguchi is pitching Ultra V, starring V-Man, whose home planet is in the 72nd Andromeda Nebula and destroyed by alien Satan. On Earth, he disguises himself as Ryugoro and joins the Special Science Unit to fight against alien Satan as they attack with kaiju. For some reason, the sources made care to highlight that V-Man has a spear called the V-Hawk, which comes out when he kicks things. It is very important I mention this.
I see.
Okay.
Fellas, these are the same idea.
Alright, now, the last one. Tell me if this makes say anything off in
Rings
your
any
brain.
bells? Yeah.
Shinichi Ichikawa is pitching Ultra Hunter. Seiji Hokuto and Yuko Minami, 2 members of the United Earth Forces, combine into a combined male and female hero and fight against the Andromeda Space Legion.
I see.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Now the unified gender thing happening there in that description, less obvious here.
Well, again, I'll get into it.
Okay.
Also, you may notice a common element in all of these pitches. There's a single villainous organization at work here.
Yes.
what's that going on Kamen Rider? They got Shocker. Shocker is here.
Shocker.
And now
everyone loves Shocker.
Oh, loves a strong word.
Well, hang on. Let me rephrase. Everyone likes that Shocker is. Everyone likes the Shocker stuff.
Yeah. So they're looking over at Toei's stuff and going, well, maybe Ultraman needs its own Shocker. All right, so these three pitches were basically combined into a single draft idea that was fleshed out, sent to TBS with the name Ultra Ace. Translation note, in Japanese, the logo is Ultra A, where the A is pronounced Ace, just like how 555 is for some reason pronounced Fies, and 000 is pronounced O's. Or, Tarne Gundam.
Called Tarne Gundam.
Yeah. Called Tarne Gundam. Called Ultra Ace. This makes sense if you've been paying attention to the franchise history. You had Ultra Q, Ultraman, Ultra 7.
Ultra 7.
And then, Return of Ultraman was a throwback. It was supposed to be Ultraman again, but, it wasn't. It was a new guy for some reason.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But, this is in keeping track with the franchise history so far. However,
this
is where we reach a pivotal moment. A turning point in the timeline. Because they found out that there's a trademark for a toy called Kaiketsu Transparent Ultra Ace. Someone had the name
can't call it
Ultra
Ace.
Ah.
So they're like, we gotta change the name. We're gonna call
this is just
Ultra Man Ace.
Yeah.
And that's why going forward, 80% of these shows are going to be Ultraman blank. It starts here.
This is just like when Tomino and friends were coming up with names for Char's mobile suit and Char's counterattack, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna call it the Zanuck. And then some kid on staff was like, that's a Nintendo game, and they went, fuck. They had to change it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Can I say?
Go ahead.
I would have found. I think it's cooler if they had found a different thing to call it other than Ace.
Yeah, I think maybe they were too attached to the Ace thing.
Maybe
the A logo is cool though. Oh well.
Makes me now sort of realize why the Nanoha Ace is called what it is.
Yeah, it makes me.
It's Ace.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay.
Uchino Ace.
Wow.
So yeah.
So yeah, from there, what's going on?
Yeah. So the final pitch. The organization called Yapul, an alien menace from another dimension, who would send not just ordinary kaiju, but super strong kaiju called the Terrible Monsters.
Or Choju.
Yeah, super beasts. But for whatever reason, they really are insistent on calling them Terrible Monsters in the localization.
Oh, I hope they're not, because I'm not.
I think you'll find that the name of the team this time...
Shut the fuck up.
Well, you know how you make your monsters into terrible monsters?
How?
You pool them together.
Hey.
Also, someone linked a tweet that was like, I saw a tweet coincidentally in the past few days where someone was like, the name of Pool maybe came from like a 1950s erotic BDSM horror novel called The Domestic Yapu, which is seems to be an allegory for Japan's occupation by the U.S.
I see.
I don't know if it's confirmed, but this tweet did come up on my feed. So like, well,
You know, when we decided to do this podcast, porn and BDSM have come up way more than I ever could have anticipated. It's like, damn.
Well, maybe in our first Ultraman episode, you shouldn't have said they looked like a blowjob shot.
It's true. I made this world.
Yeah. Like Homestuck. Anyway. The show, at least in its end, tell me if you heard this one before. Show seemed to, in its initial pitch, target an older audience, or at least a general audience. One apparent focus of the show.
They can't keep saying this. They can't keep saying this.
The show was the potential ugliness in people's hearts and the consequences it has for others. Additionally, these conflicts can and do get seized upon for Yapul for its own nefarious ends. And therefore, the trust and unity of the two heroes is therefore meant to contrast with what a lack of trust and unity does to those others. Are we having social commentary in the menu? Maybe. We'll see.
You can't say that Ultraman Ace is more for grown-ups than the last show, because I just watched the first 3 episodes of Ultraman Ace.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to get to that in a second. First, the guest appearances of previous Ultras in Return of Ultraman led to the decision to go all in. Good in the lore. Cinematic universe, baby. We're saying this is where
I can feel it.
cementing the ideas of the Ultra Brothers as an actual thing rather than just like a thing Alien Bat just throws out. Apparently, that's just like a thing that was in the magazines for a while, and they just brought it in formally at this point. Magazines
you can't give in to those magazines every time.
Shaking my fist at Tobo.
You can't just make shit up in the magazines, but I guess they can. But yeah, everyone's here.
Yeah.
You're gonna nip something in the butt right now, though. Ace mentions a Galactic Federation, which was meant to expand the universe to other Super Riot heroes like a Mirror Man and Triple Fighter, and then they didn't do that.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was so hyped when they said we're inviting you to the Galactic Federation or whatever. I was like, yo.
That was my major. I guess we'll get into it when we get to
we talked to the first episode, but
yeah.
Also, looping back into what Red said about watching the first episode of the show, perhaps in response to Ryder and his competitors, the show shifted away from the traditional sci-fi and mystery stuff and began to embrace superhero elements to a greater degree. Also, since Super Riot was working on other shows at the time, they had Redman at this point, and they also were working on Mirror Man. Go watch our list in our podcast for that. Toho was commissioned to help work with special effects stuff, so they were filming at the studios more in this game.
Mm-hmm.
According to what Japanese wiki says, this led to a noticeable enhancement in the special effects, and I'm like, oh, okay. The show does look brighter.
That's for us to decide.
That's for us to decide.
Thank you.
The show does look brighter in a weird way in the fights. I don't know if that's just, something about it looks a bit different. In a way I can't formulate, but
It does.
Yeah. The show premiered April 7th, 1972, the week after Return of Ultraman finished. Also, 52 years ago last week. We missed it.
Yes. 7 days ago plus, decades.
Yeah. Ratings are pretty high. Worth noting, contemporary ratings for popular shows at the time were like 15%, so Ace was like, close to the 20s. Like, it was around like 18%, so it was doing pretty good. Unfortunately, by the end, Return of Ultraman seemed to be pretty mostly above the 20s on the whole, so Ace is a bit not as meeting expectations by comparison because executives are stupid. And another shift was happening. Anime and manga getting big. It's not just Toku going on right now. In the 60s, Toku was primarily for general audiences. By the 70s, anime and manga is growing, and a lot of the teenagers are starting to go and check out that stuff instead.
What year again is Ace?
72.
Okay.
This means that the main people watching Toku now are mostly kids. What will that mean?
I would like to welcome to the stage
to be continued.
A man of legendary status, taking his first directorial role on the Triton of the Sea. Welcome to the stage, Yoshiyuki Tomino.
Yeah,
1972.
Now I'm gonna.
Yeah.
No, hold on. You're getting ahead of me. I'm gonna.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna. To be continued. This because there's implications for the future of Ace, which we'll get to later. But for now, I want to fill out this part with like something we haven't done before, but I feel like as we get further along, it feels like it matters more to talk about. Contemporaries. What else is on? Well, Ace is on. Well, on Super Rai side of things,
so I'm flipping the channels.
Yeah.
In Japan in 1972.
Yeah.
What am I seeing?
Yeah. So, Super Rai has got some stuff. They got another special effects show. Another. What if we did Ultraman without an Ultraman? They have Emergency Directive 10-4-10-10, which I think has a radio gimmick. They also have Red Man. An Ultra Fight budget thing that we've done an episode of way back when. Goes into that. And then they have another thing called Triple Fighter, which is kind of similar to Red Man, but it's like each week, Monday to Friday, there's like a 5-minute thing that all counts up to a single, basically amounts to a single episode of a Toku show. So you basically have like it's a way to do it. Like the flow of each individual quote-unquote episode is like a part of a bigger Toku episode in a way. And the gimmick is like 3 superheroes, and they combine to one superhero. Fusion stuff. Fusion stuff's happening in the air right now. It seems like.
I would just like to say I have seen the way that I've got ahead of you.
Yes.
I have seen the thing on this list that is significant to Toku. The most, anyway.
Then we got Toei, the main competitors. Kamen Riders, that motherfucker's got 100 episodes, so they're still going in 1972.
Yep.
But also Toei bandwagoning on itself by getting Shinomori to put out some more stuff. The main ones of this year are Superman Barum 1, Henshin Ninja Arashi, and Android Kakaider, all happening this year.
Damn, those are... Now, I feel like there was one of those that I didn't recognize.
Yeah.
But the other ones were all like famous bangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got another studio, P Productions, which you probably haven't heard of, but that's the studio behind Spectre Man. That one's wrapping up. Apparently, Spectre Man got on air before Return of Ultraman, which is funny, but, gotten ahead of the game. But yeah, Spectre Man is just finishing, and now P Productions is doing a show called Extraordinary Hero Lion Maru, which is like a more, I guess, in the Kamen Rider vein, about a guy who's a lion hero in Edo, Japan.
Mm-hmm. The great thing about making a Kamen Rider is you don't have to make sets where everything's small.
Yeah, you can just go to quarry.
Yeah.
That's about all you can do these days.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's a studio called Sankosha. We've heard of one of their works before, Silver Mask, a show that's about to bomb.
Yes. Yes. R.I.P. Silver Mask.
But don't worry, the guys working on Silver Mask are going on to a new show called Iron King, which is another it seems to be another show which I looked up. It seems to be more like another Ultraman with a twist, where there's a protagonist who's just a guy, but also he can just handle it. And the deuteragonist is the Ultraman guy who can turn into the big kaiju hero.
Oh, I see.
But he's not as good at it, which sounds interesting. And the show is about them being bros and dealing with kaiju stuff, it seems like. So it could be fun. I know it's subbed, unlike Silver Mask, so, maybe one day I'll check it out.
It
nice.
Kind of blows my mind that Silver... Like, of all the gasps, I feel like Silver Mask... This could also just be us polluted with, context and, historical information brain rot. Silver Mask comes up so much in discussion of Ultraman stuff.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Silver Mask has
the
not
thing
gotten
is, right now... Fan subs are, because of the Crunchyroll, fan subs are, not as much of a thing, and most people pay attention to anime. And then below that tier, you have Toku. Then within Toku, most people are paying attention to Toei stuff, specifically Kamen Rider, which means Ultraman stuff gets grifted. And even then, the lesser stuff falls to the cracks, and Ultraman and Ultraman T stuff falls to the cracks more. So basically, all the spin-off stuff for Ultraman stuff, or things related to it, are the harder stuff to get subbed. So
that does make sense. And how many times have the three of us I feel like we've all like we've gotten comments or emails at this point, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I love like Ultraman stuff, but like I never checked out the old stuff too." So like this is time.
Like it does feel like fortunate that Mill Creek actually put out the Showa stuff, but also it's like, like there's a thing where it's like, damn, some of these writer shows are getting like multiple translations and retranslations, and meanwhile there's just stuff that's like, why is no one touching this at all?
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll change that.
Well, I've been trying. I've been trying. I've been trying. Yeah. It's hard.
Listen, it'll snowball into something bigger. We gotta have faith.
But yeah, now Kaiju, Toho, not the project. The 12th Godzilla movie's out this year. Godzilla vs. Gigan. Nobody. This is the third movie to what Godzilla Wiki calls the Champion series, which was like Toho had this thing called the Toho Champion Festival at some point, starting in '69, where they started doing like children's matinees, and that's what this era of the Showa Godzilla movies are like. Mm-hmm. They also have on TV Warrior of Love, Rainbow Man, which like seems like a Kamen Rider style hero, except he has 7 forearms based on the colors of the rainbow.
Ooh.
Another movie is Daigoro vs. Goliath, which is a collaboration with Super Eye Productions. Another kaiju movie. This one looks, on first blush, more kid-focused, even more so than I guess the Godzilla stuff is. Could be fun. We have it on our list, for the record. And then speaking of Tsuburaya and its connection with Toho, at some point this year, Redman, because it's airing like every day, will end. And then the spiritual successor will be taken up by Toho with Godman, which seems like a similar show, but also there's kids there or something.
Godman?
Yeah.
This man's God this time?
Yeah.
You're running out of ideas.
Unlike Ultraman, who's Jesus.
Yeah, or Redman.
That's the show where Alien Satan needs to show up.
There's a lot of Satans in this era. Anyway, here's Godman. Just gonna get a photo.
Oh. Why does Godman have hair?
Don't worry about it.
I don't like this. I don't like this guy.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll force one of you to watch it at some point. As a success of the Red Band episode.
Ugh.
That's a threat.
Yeah, that is a threat. Look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Anyway.
This is God?
Oh,
I think we could do better.
Yeah. Speaking of we could do better. Daiei. What's Gamera have out this year? Oh, fucking nothing. Because this is Daiei went bankrupt in the previous year in 1971, so this is the first year since 1965 without a Gamera movie. Rip.
Damn.
Yeah. Wait a minute. We were just saying. Not just Toku on there. Anime's popping off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, the thing you spoiled. Like, trying to see Tomino's debut.
Yeah. Well, there's Tomino's debut. There's two other things that seem significant.
I got 3 things here that seem significant.
Okay.
Devilman.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't spot Devilman.
Mazinger Z.
Devilman. I spotted that.
Science Ninja Team Gotcha Man.
That's right. The year Super Sentai got invented.
Yeah. And then just gonna make a note of some Western sci-fi stuff that I noticed, just because, probably fair to say Subura also draws from this stuff. And also, we can't be too much of weebs on here, or else we'll look pathetic. Apparently, there's been 4 Planet of the Apes movies at this point. Conquest of the Planet of the Apes is out. Star Trek is not happening at the moment. It's dormant. Still got some time until it revives, I guess. Our good friend Gary Anderson, for once, is not doing sci-fi. He's doing a show called The Protectors, which apparently is just a normal British spy show that people really liked.
Oh, do you mean Jerry Anderson?
I said Gary Anderson.
I thought you said Gary.
Is it Jerry?
It's Jerry.
It's Jerry. It's not Gary.
Oh fuck! I thought because it was G.
Gary Anderson is a darts player.
Okay, well, that's Jerry Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's taking a break from sci-fi. But I guess in the context of sci-fi, this is the middle of the third Doctor's run on Doctor Who. For those keeping track, I'm not. And then Tarkovsky's put out the movie Solaris over in the Soviet Union. So that's what's going on in 1972 media-wise. Now let's talk about Ace's design. Designed by Yoshio Suzuki, for some reason, is based on a Roman soldier. Kinda. At this point, the showrunners are like, well, if we're doing the multiverse stuff, we should actually think about what the Orlando Light's actually like. And for whatever reason, they were like, their image they came up with in their head was like something Greco-Roman retro-futurist, which may bleed into how we end up seeing maybe Orlando Light stuff as we get into the future. We'll see.
Okay.
The idea behind the fusion of man and woman into one hero was that Ace would be the perfect ultimate superhero that transcended gender differences. They felt that this element would make it stand out next to Kamen Rider.
When they say it transcends gender differences,
yeah,
I want to know what they mean.
Yeah,
I want to know what they mean.
They intentionally designed the character to be a mix of masculine and feminine features. They talked about this in
Did they?
Well, in their video they did.
Okay.
They think they're like, well, the face is a bit more feminine. They talk about this in a.
Is it?
In their view, it is. They talk, and then in a what's the fucking name? SH Figure Arts interview. SH Figure Arts, yeah. They talk about some of the design stuff, and now it's like, the goal was to go for a bit more of an androgynous look. They highlight the mouth as one of the main things. Like, look at those lips. It's the more feminine, which is a bit weird to do in it, but you know. I guess that these are still weird old Japanese men at some point, just like Tomino. But yeah,
I think I would let Tomino take a crack at this.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's. I don't see this. I don't see this at all. I would hang on. Let me put this side by side with Ultraman. The images, like the Ultraman face is already just so not human.
Yeah.
I also think it is extremely funny that in the one where they're like, we're gonna make a hero that transcends the like gender disparity in the culture or whatever, and then they chose to, as soon as they run into one roadblock, they're like, well, we're gonna call it Ultraman Ace.
Yeah. And like I don't know the pronoun situation in Japan. I do know that like the English stuff usually defaults to he, but a lot of my friends also just like take the info. You like to write them the idea like, oh well, Ace is non-binary as an entity. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. This is.
You have enough info to make a definitive call either way. But I thought I'd bring it up. Just going like, well, you know.
Well. I have to think, as someone who writes the summaries, I have to actually think about it, I guess. It's Ultraman. It's like, that's what it says. Okay. This is just...
It's okay. You mean he, him, NB. If it makes it easier.
He's not NB. This is giving this show way too much credit. We have to wait until we get into the episodes themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
Minami is not as involved as Hokuto is.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have to think. For today, I am calling Ultraman he, because the show is called Ultraman, and that is how I wrote the summaries.
The Mill Creek textbook also calls him that, so you're not committing a sin by doing so. At least more
just giving up on the idea. The first contact with oh man. Okay. Well, this is interesting. This is an interesting thing to mull over.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, we can say, well, they tried ? For the 70s, which
Yeah.
Watching these first 3 episodes, I don't necessarily know if they did, but we can get into it.
They tried in the lore or something.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, the first 2 episodes use a two-piece suit design. Let me see if I can find pictures, actually.
A 2-piece suit design?
Yeah, it might be more sense.
Just on the cover of Ultraman Ace, I think I can see there's a piece that is just like the overlay on his shoulders.
Looks kind of like well, no, actually,
do one of you have a picture? Because I don't have the Blu-ray, like the actual Blu-ray cover. So
here's
but I'm
here's
curious.
like the suit. So this is a 2-piece suit, and I use it for the first 2 episodes of the show.
Oh, okay.
But they found that it was kind of like falling apart. Like it hooks and stuff got damaged. So they switched to a more conventional 1-piece one, like the one on the box art of the thing. Here's another picture of like the actual suit from the show. So yeah.
Okay.
Also, the suit actor for the first 2 episodes only was Tadashi Nakanashi. And then after they changed to the 1-piece suit, they changed suit actors to Shoji Takuchi, who I couldn't find any bio on.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the voice actor for Ace, because he's a guy now, is Goro Naya.
Oh, he's got lines, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Goro Naya, okay.
Who I know as the original voice of Zenigata from Lupin the Third.
That's cool.
And also, more relevant to people watching at the time, he was the voice of Shocker Leader in Kamen Rider.
Oh,
nice.
That's a good voice.
And so it was like, oh man, you got the bad guy as the good guy. That's fun.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, this original design, that's a feminine element. That man's wearing a leotard.
And now we just quick run through the cast.
They ditched it, cowardly.
Yeah, well, it broke. Was the problem?
Cowardly.
We can talk about other cowardly stuff as we go along in the show. Anyway, the cast. Seiji Hokuto is played by Keiji Takamine. Apparently, his eldest son is a huge Ultraman fan, but somehow did not know his dad played the role of Ultraman Ace until he was 35, which I'm like...
That's so fucking funny.
Bro, how do you not have that conversation?
Amazing.
That rules.
It's really good. Yuko Minami is played by Mitsuko Hoshi. Goro Ryu is voiced by Tetsuro Sagawa, who we'll later see.
Okay. You were about to say what his role is, yeah.
He's the captain.
Yes, there we go.
And later he becomes the narrator for Taro and Leo.
Okay.
So we'll hear him for a while. Then we got Noriko Mikawa, played by Keiko Nishi. Her role on the team is woman. The other one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did note this in my summary.
Yes.
Then we got Ichiro Yanaka, played by Shunichi Okita. He's the gunslinger guy, and we'll talk about that later.
Hell yeah, we'll talk about him.
Kozo Yoshimura is played by Mitsuhiro Sano. I think they call him the nerd. So far, he's the Ueno in terms of being like, I got nothing on this guy.
Well, I would have to pull him up again, but my summary, I have him listed as a kaiju enthusiast, like a kaiju nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very funny given what happens in episode 2. But we'll go,
Then we have Tsutomu Kono, played by Masaki Yamamoto. We previously saw him in episode 18 of Return of Ultraman. The Bem Star one, where Ultra 7 shows up. He's just the chef at the restaurant goes eating at.
I see.
Is that the one where there's a weirdly long sequence of him driving to the song, like the theme song?
He leaves that, right? He's at that restaurant, and then he leaves when the gas goes out, and the OP plays for some reason.
That's the only reason I remember that episode.
Oh, you don't remember for Ultra 7?
Honestly, no.
And finally, technically not a member of the team, but part of the crew, Yoichi Kaji, played by Katsumi Nakayama. We've also seen him in episode 4 of Mirror Man as the shitty boyfriend who did a hit and run.
Let's go! Man, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. Fuck several guys in Mirror Man.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my pre-production stuff. For now, we'll obviously get into more as the show progresses, but
Yeah. So, alright, well, we can get straight in to Ultraman Ace. Now, episode 1 is called Shine, the 5 Ultra Brothers.
Yep.
Featuring, and this is gonna be new, because I'm not saying terrible Missile Choju Velcron.
The terrible monster, Veracom.
Very straightforward first episode, so this summary is gonna go quick. Hokuto is a goofy guy who works at a bakery, delivering bread to not just to orphans, but this episode he's delivering bread to orphans. Minami is a less goofy woman who works as a nurse protecting orphans. When a missile, I have written kaiju here, that's not correct, attacks, Hokuto has to evade it in his truck while yelling about how the orphans need the bread he's delivering. Unfortunately, he crashes and the bread is ruined. But wait, the monster is on its way to the orphanage. Minami is trying to help an orphan in a wheelchair, but gets stuck, and Hokuto helps her out before driving a fuel tanker directly at the monster's feet, melting into the image of the galaxy with you. In the aftermath of the explosion, Hokuto and Minami are in a strange place, and 5 Ultra Brothers appear.
Despite, Hokuto being like 500 meters away, they're still next to each other.
I don't know why Minami's here.
I died because I was like, he goes off to do the heroic like suicide run like explosion thing, and he was just like 3 seconds away from impact. Like he's just must have been wondering like, she far enough away? Am I gonna kill her accidentally too?
The fucking just her being is hilarious. More of poor Minami. Is just like, oh, we got a man and a woman as the heroes of the show, and I'm like, really? No, no, not really. The Ultra Brothers appear, including a 5th Ultra Brother, someone we've never met before. Ultraman now. Of the first 3 brothers, which one's which? So, first brother, Liu Bei, Ultraman, which means Ultra 7 is Guan Yu, and Ultraman 2 is Zhang Fei. I guess Zhao Yun is
Zoffy.
Oh no, Zoffy is the. Oh yeah.
Maybe Zoffy is Zhang Fei, and then 2 is
Just give Zoffy to the one that sucks.
That's what Zoffy deserves.
I mean, he's like, listen, this is the second time he's been on screen in this entire franchise.
True. Ultraman Ace is here.
So
yeah, go ahead.
I do want to pause and say, as soon as this appeared on screen, I went, okay, we haven't talked about this in a while, but I am now almost positive this has to be the show where the fucking crucifixion shit happens. I think I said, like, probably in the 90s. That seems like a 90s thing. As soon as I saw all 5 of these fuckers flying towards my screen, I'm like, oh, these bastards gonna get crucified.
Man,
I guess we'll see.
It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen soon.
It's gotta happen. And, like, they're
Any
going
day
deep
now.
in on, like, they're all here now. Like, it has to be this one.
Ace gives his power to Hokuto and Minami in the form of rings they both wear. Now wearing the rings...
Symbolism.
Yes. Now wearing the rings and also scarves, because Hokuto and Minami join TAC. What does TAC stand for? Ultraman Ace?
The terrible monster attacking crew.
I'm gonna kill
That's
myself.
the name of the monster they're fighting. The terrible monsters.
I was just like, you've run out of names now. You've run out. You have to stop.
See, like, I'm genuinely so curious to see how they managed to do this for, like...
They don't, surely.
like... There's only so many words to rearrange.
Look at Scarred. I mean, they're still doing it.
What was Scarred? What did Scarred stand for
It was
again?
like, oh, fuck, let me find
Was it like
up.
Special Kaiju
Special
Assault?
Kaiju, because the A in Scarred was lowercase.
Oh my god, of course it was.
I think it's the first time they did that, to be fair, but the Special Kaiju Reaction Detachment was what Scarred was called.
Oh, they're at the bottom of the barrel. That's beautiful.
Right, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is the crew. We meet the crew, including a captain, a sharpshooter, a monster enthusiast, a rocket scientist, a weapons developer, and a woman. Hokuto and Minami get put to the test, there we go, and pass. They are fully fledged members of the crew. The captain explains that for this season, we're doing Mirror Man. I guess, the other one. Well, we're doing Mirror Man. Because all
It's more Mirror Man.
Yeah, I probably should have said in my production notes that, like, obviously the Shocker stuff was influential, but they were still also at this point experimenting with this stuff. Probably because of Shocker, but like they've been experimenting with like a villain like that in Mirror Man at this point anyway. So this is like a second go of it, I think.
Mm-hmm. There's also some similarity in all the kaiju. Choju. Are sent by interdimensional
the terrible monsters.
aliens. I mean, this is going to be an ongoing fight.
Yeah, of course.
The interdimensional aliens, they're all sent by interdimensional aliens called the Yapul, who are trying to invade Earth, which is, we had the fourth dimensional creatures in Mirror Man. The monster returns, and this time it shoots missiles from its mouth. The crew deploys. Hokuto goes out alone in a tack something. They have arrows, but it's not the arrow. It's something else, and I didn't get a name.
Is it like the Panther or something? I thought it was called.
The Panther's the car.
The Panther's
the car.
Okay.
Well, we can look for it out. I'm gonna look.
Because I noticed that name when they were talking, and I was like, that's a sick name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red continue with the summary, and I'll find the TAC vehicles.
Hokuto goes out alone because he's a reckless guy, and Minami is on the ground with the rest. The attack seems to kill the monster, but then it revives and knocks Hokuto out of the sky. It then threatens to destroy a school, and Hokuto and Minami, being like comedy heroes who are saving orphans left and right, they are not gonna let a monster destroy a school. They reunite, and their rings glow, and they ascend into the sky and transform into Ultraman Ace, who defeats the monster using a red and blue spacium beam. The day is saved, and we have a neat new fusion gimmick at the end, basically.
Yeah.
Did you find that name?
Oh yeah, they have the TAC Falcon, which is like a big aircraft, and then the TAC Arrows are like the smaller one inside it. The TAC Falcon is like an aircraft carrier, it seems like, almost.
Did he go out in the TAC Falcon? Wow.
He probably went out in an Arrow, to be honest.
But, like, it was different than the Arrow. Visually.
I mean, the Arrows in this show just look different.
No, I mean, he was different from this show's Arrows. I went back and checked when I was writing the summary. But it is okay. We can track that down later. So yeah, that's the first episode of Ultraman Ace. We got 2 new heroes, and they fuse into Ultraman. The transcending gender thing, we will have to see about the show.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was more into this before I had heard that sentence.
I'm sorry I ruined the show for you.
I will say, because I think I've touched on this before, and I guess I'll say it now. Like, this was written by Shinichi Ichikawa, and when I first covered him, because he's going to be one of the main 3 writers here, doing his like summary stuff back in the day, I got spoiled on the fact that this is the gimmick for this show. This is the only thing I've known about Ultraman Ace this whole time, was that it's about a man and a woman combining to become Ultraman, and because like it deals with gender stuff as a result of that, allegedly.
Well, we will. I'm open to it. For now, as he's called the Ultra. He's called the 5th Ultra Brother, and he's called Ultraman, and every official source calls him. That's what I'm doing.
I also feel like, and this is true for even just this first episode, you can feel the show leaning much more on Hokuto than they are
yes.
Minami. Like, just right off the bat.
It's funny, Hokuto does like fun salutes, and Minami is just like nodding.
Yep, I noticed that too.
I'm glad that like no one from the last show is showing up, or else it would be too confusing if we had to talk about 2 Minamis.
Yes, 2 Minamis.
We will have to qualify our statements once we get to like future shows and start talking about, hey, remember we're in this show when this happened?
I can't wait for June 4.
There was already 4 in Blazer.
Oh, yeah, there were several Juns in Blazer. You're right. You're correct. Absolutely. So yeah, we got a new crew. We got some new guys. The guy that I want to talk about right off the bat, obviously, is the gung-ho guy whose whole deal is that he's a sharpshooter, except that's not really his deal. His whole deal is he has 2 guns.
Yeah.
He dual wields.
He dual wields.
To some time like Dante, I hear.
Absolutely. And he likes to hold his guns cool, I've noticed. When he points, there's a moment in the 3rd episode where he points his guns at people and he's crossed them over. So he's got like, it's like very stupid. I'm like, hell yeah, you go, dude. We don't get like much going on aside from the basics, like, and the main shift is obviously the new enemies, the Yapul. We have one villain basically, and we're gonna be working with that. The shot of the Yapul, whenever they cut to the Yapul, it's always just through 30 like weird effects to make them look all shaky and wobbly and stuff. And their voices come through funny. And I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck they look like. They're just they got some pointy heads, I think.
Yeah.
That's the most I can tell.
Yeah, that's cool.
I do want to say, I feel like this is the most, like, maybe obligatory introduction I think we've had to a team so far, in that I feel like this is the first one where, culturally, everyone knows what one of these shows is about, and, like, we don't, quote-unquote, waste time with the team stuff. We just give the, alright, here's the introduction, alright, you're on the team, sort of thing. Which I thought was funny. Just like, okay, we're here now. We're, 4th time around with this setup. They expect kids to know what's up, and we're just getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they also had that in Ultra 7, but that was also, like, came directly after Ultraman.
I mean, the Ultra 7 thing was that we were introduced to the team, and then we met Dan.
Yeah.
That was fun. Him sat on top of the car.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
The other thing I did note though, and I mean they always kind of do this where they highlight their specialties and their personalities in the first episode here, but it felt a little bit like a breath of fresh air after I feel like Return of Ultraman kind of fell by the wayside towards the end. I'm just like, yes, we got new people. And yes, it is, again, we've brought this up, but it is extremely funny when they're going over all of the members of the team and what they do, and then they get to Mikawa and just don't have anything to say, and then pass by.
She works here.
She works here. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's funny how there's someone who has to be a woman when there's also a woman on the team who's ostensibly a protagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that she's they've got a default woman to work on the team, to sit at computers and hit buttons. And the one time they cut to her hitting buttons, it's really funny how much she's not hitting buttons. She's like typing at a keyboard, and it's like just this half-second shot of just like, you know that clip from like a BBC News thing, so maybe you haven't, of like the worst fake typing ever.
Nope.
Okay, I'm sending this around. If I just Google this, it'll come up. Oh, it's RTE. Oh, I'm sorry. I have insulted Ireland. The BBC News. Somewhere in.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it's like this. Anyway. So, what else is going on in this episode? Is there anything else going on in this episode?
I like the part where like Hokuto's supposed to go with Kono, but then Kono's like, "Yeah, I just gotta go to the bathroom," and Hokuto just leaves without him.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fun.
Hokuto demonstrating himself as a reckless guy who's just gonna get out there and do some hero stuff all the time, which hopefully will be countered by Minami being responsible and sensible, and a more cautious hero, perhaps, but nonetheless a hero. Yeah. We will see.
We'll see.
We don't see much of it.
We have a. It is funny that like Hokuto is just like early go, but more. He's
so silly. He's like sat in the Arrow making like funny faces, and like he might
that one time.
Yeah, he might as well be going like meow meow pew pew pew.
He probably does.
I don't have much necessary. I like the Spacium beam, the blue and red Spacium beam, signifying the fusion of the two.
Yeah.
I was going to make a joke about how obviously they got the rings here, and the fusion between the two. So I'm like, what if you edited Ultraman Ace so that whenever they fused into Ultraman Ace was like blurred, like it was porn. That's seemingly not necessarily what they're going for. So we shall see.
This might just be because it's the first episode, but I felt like the miniature work and like the pyro techniques were really on point. Yeah. Every time this like kaiju shooting fire and stuff, and like the like in the bread van or like the bread truck or whatever, racing away from it, trying not to get caught up in it. Like I thought all that looked really good. Same with like the jets coming in to try to stop the monster. The terrible monster.
Yeah, the terrible monsters.
It all I thought was like, okay, no, they definitely are still upping their game show after show, I feel like, in terms of how all of these effects look and work. So I was happy to see that. I also wanted, I don't know if maybe it's just like the prints of the episodes we have compared to like previous like stuff that we've watched, but does this show seem like brighter and a little bit more colorful?
That's what I was saying earlier. I felt the show feels brighter. I don't know how to put it into words why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's it feels like it pops more. It definitely, I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was a perfectly serviceable, like, good time first episode.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
Caveat, and I have this again with all 3 episodes, I do feel like the show is much more interested in showing Hokuto's side than Minami's side. And I hope that's something they iron out as they go. Yeah. But I can't shake that feeling as we watch these first 3 here. All
right.
Do we want to get into who directed and wrote? Yeah, so I'm going to have an easy time this the first batch of episodes here for next few weeks because a lot of repeat names. So the director, there's 2 directors for this first episode, Masanori Kake and Kazuho Mitsuda. And then this was written by Shinichi Ichikawa.
Okay.
Hell yeah. On my end, Kazuo Sagawa did the episode directors, was the episode special effects director for all 3 of the episodes, so make my job easier. Also, apparently, there's a assistant special effects director, Koichi Kawakita, who debuts as a director later on in the show, and some of his directorial style, which he carried over eventually into Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, would show up here. So that's good. As for the kaiju, Verocron, Akihiko Oguchi, our good friend, designed all 3 kaiju this week. The suit actor was Taru Kawai. He's a suit actor for every kaiju from episode 1 to 12, so I'm taking myself work. As for the sculpting this time, I found there's like 2 studios that was working on the sculpting stuff. One was Eizo Kaimai Studio, which I mentioned at the end of Return of Ultraman last time. The one for this kaiju was a studio called 20. The play prototype by the president Keiza Murase. I'll get to him in a second. And apparently this kaiju is Hokuto's actor Keiji Takamine's favorite kaiju. As for Keiza Murase, he started work at Toho part-time in 1957. He worked on various movies like Matango. He was mentored by the Yagi brothers and looked up to them. His low salary meant he'd have bread for breakfast and then no lunch. He'd often look forward to company overtime because company provided food. Then once Kenju Yagi took him to ramen after noticing he didn't have lunch, and Murase claims to remember the taste even decades later, and he appreciated the kindness. However, on the bad side, when Murase said that maybe I should get out of this work because it sucks, Kanju says, "No, you can't quit. We're selling dreams to children." So, fucked up.
Yeah, hell world.
I don't know if either of you heard of the 5 Studios agreement. Have you?
No.
There's basically a thing where the 5 big film studios in Japan at the time were like, yeah, we're not allowed to poach each other's talent, basically. Murase broke that to go over and work on the Gamera movie, and then he became independent of Toho at that point. He helped set up Extract Productions with Kanju Yagi's son, Masao Yagi, who was, as I previously mentioned, was a designer of Gamera itself. And part of this was an effort to repay Kanju's kindness by helping out his son. Later worked on Captain Ultra and Kaiju Buska. And in 1972, he set up his own studio, 20. And he worked on Ace, and also toy stuff like Kamen Rider, Barum 1, and Kikaider. Worked not just on Japanese stuff, but would also do work on some Korean and Taiwanese and Hong Kong films. He's still alive. He'll turn 89 this year, and he's continuing to do stuff, apparently, even though he's fucking old.
Holy shit.
He's doing stuff for film, TV, even commercials and theater. His own sons followed in his footsteps. His oldest son, Fumikitsu, went independent and founded his own studio, while his younger son, Naoto, took over the management of 20. And 20 still doing business. The last thing I saw they did was Kamen Rider Black Sun, which is pretty recent. So,
I don't know anything about... Well, actually, I think I know something about Black Sun, and that I think that's the one that makes some social commentary choices that are maybe not the most appropriate. But it does have a killer theme song, so who can say if it's bad?
I know some people would like the themes of it, but I can also see it being like problematic. So I'll see one day when I watch it.
Yeah, I know it has a killer theme song. I've heard that before.
2 highlights of his career, at least in Murasa's view, was 1, he made the vinyl tentacles for the Kaiju Dagora in the Kaiju movie Dagora. And Eiji Tsuburaya thought that was pretty cool. And 2, he worked together with his son Naoto on Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, the 1991 Heisei Godzilla movie. And he just felt like the experience of working with his son in the movie was really nice, and he got attached to King Ghidorah as a result of just like, that's the thing I worked on with his son. So that's nice. Also, cursed knowledge about this episode. Originally, they were going to have this battle set with the kaiju set in Hiroshima, and the sort of the landmark that'd be like, oh hey, there's the set in Hiroshima. We're doing the kaiju thing. Is that they're gonna have the atomic dome destroyed, and people were like, no, why would you do that? That's stupid.
Lol.
You know. Don't want to be insensitive to survivors, so they changed it to the nearby Fukuyama instead.
They do blow up Hiroshima in the show. That's like the second episode, right? They go to Hiroshima.
Do they?
I'm pretty sure. I think.
Bold declarations.
I would have to. It did not make it into my summary, so I would have to check the tape again. Multiple things to go back and check the tape for, but I seem to remember. Anyway.
Yeah. I'll look it up. Also, it's funny that the Ultraman wiki page for this episode is like, yeah, this marks the second appearance of Zoppy since the final episode of the original Ultimate series. Like, yeah, that's funny.
God.
I think the guy thinks he belongs to the team.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
Yeah.
All right, well, if that's all we have to say about the first episode, we can move on to the second episode.
Oh, you mean the one Surpass the Giant Terrible Monster?
Oh, do you mean Beyond the Choju?
No, it's Surpass the
You belong to me.
Yeah. Featuring ancient, terrible monster Chamela King or Camela King. I don't know.
I think it's Camela King.
How to pronounce it.
I think it's Camela King just because of what the thing is trying to be.
Yeah.
A strange silver egg swallows a manhole, and nobody...
Let's go, we're so fucking back!
And nobody believes the guy who saw it. This will be an ongoing theme in the next 2 episodes, is wild shit happening, and people just being like, that sounds made up, mate.
Listen, that was like most of the tail end of Return of Ultraman.
Yeah, fair. A golden egg flies towards Tokyo, and Hokuto, on patrol in attack arrow, shoots at it, and it seemingly explodes. He's excited to return from his patrol to attend a welcoming party for him and Minami. The party is going well enough, but the captain says some stirring words, and Hokuto pledges himself to freedom, and Minami pledges herself to justice, and I go, oh my god, it's Kira and Atherin. The party is interrupted by a call about a giant golden egg. Hokuto insists he definitely shot it down, and the captain has to step in to defend him from accusations he left it because he wanted to get to the party earlier, which is such a wild thing to accuse someone of. I was like, this is such an absurd thing to assume. The crew launches to take down the egg, but the captain orders Hokuto to stay at the base. Hokuto thinks he's lost the trust of the crew. I was about to say the team. That's not correct. It's the crew.
It is the crew.
The crew.
Terrible monster.
Yeah.
Tiger crew.
Last season, that was the team. The crew discovers the egg teleports when fired at, so that'll be why Hokuto thought he destroyed it. The egg appears on top of a building in Tokyo, and Hokuto heads out with a mortar to attack it. The crew arrives, and Hokuto gets injured because he's standing about 2 meters in front of them. The silver egg appears and merges with the golden egg, and the crew heads back to base. Hokuto is frustrated, but Minami assures him is this now? I think this is now. Hokuto is frustrated, but Minami assures him the reason the captain left him at base is because in his frustration, he might do something reckless. Courage is more than rash action. Anyway, the monster enthusiast stands off to the side while the weapons developer brings out a dusty old kaiju tome and explains the kaiju for this episode. And I was like, hang on, you've already forgotten. It didn't take long. You've forgotten who these people are.
I love it when now.
However, all this aside, because the Ichinotani School of Science is back. We are dusting off old tomes and flipping through legends of monsters and being like, oh, the events so far match a legend from Atlantis of a silver and golden egg merging and birthing a terrible monster. And the captain says...
I'm so happy Atlantis is now canon to the world of Ultraman.
Yeah, it gives birth to a terrible monster. And the captain says, oh, we attack those. And the crew launches to go kill the Choju before it can be born and bring about the doom of Atlantis in Japan. What is with Japan and sinking? Anyway, the monster.
We'll find out.
Yeah, eventually. The monster is born and starts wrecking shit. The captain says, "There's nothing for it. I have to do this myself." He engages in attack arrow. I'm going to shoot its tongue. He does not shoot its tongue. He gets owned and he's about to die. He resigns himself to death, maybe. But then, on motorbikes, Hokuto and Minami leap into the air and fuse and save the captain. Ace puts the captain down and then kills the monster. Later, recovering from his injuries, the captain meets Hokuto and says, I know you told me Ultraman saved me, but I was sure it was you, Hokuto. And Hokuto smiles to himself and says, I must have been your imagination. The end.
And then Crucial runs up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. Another crucial note to this episode. New York headquarters is mentioned.
Yeah.
Yep. France be gone.
Paris has too many...
It's got too many headquarters.
Yeah. They'd even it out.
Yeah. But also, there's too many problems with SSP, too many problems with Matt.
Oh, you know where the headquarters is based, though? Statue of Liberty. Keep it French.
Oh.
Shit, you're right.
Keep it French.
So that's where they got the idea in Deus Ex 1, anyways.
Yes. This is a fun episode here. A little more just like getting to grips with what the usual is.
We got our what if a weird egg showed up quota out of the way.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah.
Exactly what we need. It eats people. That's what happens when it shows up.
I like the effect of like the silver egg rolling through the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is pretty
fun.
Good. The horror of the first guy getting eaten is fantastic because it's like I can see the spot on the egg where he's going to put his hand is just like goo that he's going to get pulled into, and I'm like, hell yeah.
I had a great time with this episode. I think it's just like fun, traditional, like good setup, funny monster lore, pretty solid fight. The only one thing I kind of don't like about it is I feel like they're still trying to figure out a good way to marry the Yapul with the monster of the week in like a natural way. I felt it was maybe a little clunky this first time around, but
Yeah, this one felt a bit more like this is a weird Ultraman episode where things happen and Yapul is in the background going, oh yeah, that was a plan. This idea.
Yep.
We should have a Yapul guy in the cast who is the guy tasked with finding a new kaiju every week. And he's really stressed about it.
That'd be fun.
Because it's like, oh, what do you mean I have to come up with a monster every week?
Is like a dumb little puppet guy. So here's the thing. Deep down in my heart, I want the Yapul to be puppets. I know puppets. From what we've seen.
Puppets. They're people.
They're
in
not
suits.
puppets. Yeah. They're people in suits.
It'd be funny if they were fucking alien pole.
God, it should be alien pole.
Yapole.
Yeah, Yapole. There should be little.
They evolved.
Oh my god, they've got new ways to. They got new ways to post low tier god.png.
Yeah.
God. Well, yeah.
So far, I like the captain.
The captain is captainly. He's got it. Unlike Ultra God Captain, who's just Guy.
Yeah.
We've done well on captains, I think, so far. I think OG Ultraman Captain, that's Captain Energy.
Yeah.
And then Monster Tag Team, we had an abundance of captains. We had 2 captains.
Yeah. 2 of them.
And one of them was his dad. And then one of them was his stepdad. And then the next one was his stepdad. Which is,
Do you think Ibuki knew Go was Ultraman?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. I think
he got it.
Some of his other masterpieces got it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, him just be like, Go isn't dead. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Go dying. Shut up. Also think about the episode where he's like, well, why would an alien target you? Go. You got something to tell me?
Go being like, hey, if the alien does this, do this. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
No weird amount of aliens. They knew exactly what happened.
Yeah. Do you remember when Dan's whole thing, when for a while, when anyone was ever, wow, you know like a lot about aliens, and Dan's like, don't worry about it. That's the extent of his cover up.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
But yeah, I think it's fun to just throw the seeds in a bit early this time.
Mm-hmm. So
it's funny that he's like, Hokuto, I could have sworn I saw you, and also maybe Minami.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing here that feels like absent is Hokuto and Minami don't talk to each other. Not really.
No.
It feels like they have a common understanding, but it'd be nice if they communicated.
Yeah, like I thought with this setup we'd get more scenes of them having like interpersonal like clashing that they then resolve by the time shit got serious, and we haven't really had that yet. I'm like, that's like the first thing I would have done.
If this show gets to a point where we're getting episodes about how they're disagreeing on how to do Ultraman, that's gonna be the real shit.
Yeah, like that's what I'm hoping. I mean, that's such a slam dunk. That's what you got to do with a setup like this when you have like the 2 that turn into the 1.
Although the quote from the production is demonstrating that the trust between the 2 overcomes the darkness in everyone's hearts. So
yeah, but I mean,
it's possible we won't.
But like trust is an ongoing process. Sometimes you just like you work through shit with people. Mm-hmm. There could be bumps in the road.
We have to see. Sometimes the writers are cowards, and sometimes they take swings.
Yeah, so I think hopefully someone takes a swing because like
the food's on the table.
They can't get along all the time. I'd be so disappointed if they just get along all the time. We'll see.
Anyway, my pitch to Super Eye is we do this Ultraman Ace thing again. 2 people fusing into one Ultraman.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both girls, and they also don't like each other.
I see. Nice.
That's my pitch.
Yeah. That works.
People would really like it, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think we ever get a shot of one of them angrily taking the ring off their finger and chucking it somewhere?
Oh. Ultraman divorce.
We watched that one already.
We watched that one already. I was going to say, he's asexual Ultraman.
Yeah.
This is true. Oh man. This is there's so much fertile ground for completely weird shit that, I bet we'll at most only get like 40 to 50% of. Maybe. We'll see. What else is going on in this episode?
Atlantis.
Yes, Atlantis comes up. Atlantis is real.
I feel like the song of the party is racist, but I don't know to who.
It might not be like racist at all. It might be completely fine.
That's the thing. I wish I knew. It just feels like this is not Japanese.
What? Why is it not Japanese?
They don't look like they're dressed Japanese. I think it gave me like Russian vibes. Was my thing.
I
don't know if I'm just inventing that though. I could just be wrong. That's why I want someone to like tell me what the fuck's up with it.
It felt like a folk thing that I just do not know enough about.
Yeah, if it's a folk thing, that's different, obviously.
Yeah.
But if it was a Russian thing, that's like, well, you're doing racism.
I don't know why it comes across as Russian.
The hat, I think.
Oh, I didn't see a hat. Where's the hat? Oh, no, I would have to go through the episode again. I missed the hat.
Yeah, go open up your Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
I do like how that song includes lyrics about how their boss sucks, and it just kind of cuts to him just kind of smiling a little bit.
Yeah, I did. I liked the song. I thought the song was good. Let me open my Blu-ray in a software called MPV. Where are we going? Here we go. Oh, there is an outfit.
Yeah.
I don't think the song comes across as... I think the song just comes across as a folk song.
Okay, it might just be the outfit that's doing it for me.
I don't know that this outfit comes across as Russian, though. I don't know.
I was thinking like Russian or like steppes, something like Central Asian.
I don't know.
I could be inventing something, but it's just the vibes I got.
Okay. Well, what else is going on? So it's the thing that the thing about Atlantis. The thing about I was going to say there's something about Atlantis. So we're going back to Atlantis. The fun thing about Atlantis is that Atlantis was a terrible place. Is the origin story of Atlantis. The reason it sinks is because it fucking sucks. Is because it's like empire builders. This is like from like the Republic. This is like it's like a paragraph or something about Atlantis, from Plato, and it's not in the Republic. Is it in the Republic? No.
I thought Atlantis was a Pliny thing.
No, it's not in the Republic.
Okay.
It's in something Plato said.
It's in some of Plato stuff. It's contrasted with Athens.
We're not here to be like accurate about the classics.
I'm here to be accurate about exactly as much as I want to be accurate about. But yes, I went, whenever Atlantis comes up, I'm always just like, oh yeah, the place that sucks, the place that's evil. That's what it is. Wow. I don't really have much more to say about episode 2 of Ultraman Ace.
No, it was directed once again by Masanori Kake and Kazuho Mitsuda, and then written by Shozo Uehara this time around.
Okay.
As far as the kaiju trivia I got, apparently Iguchi purposely designed this to be more plain because he was like, I wanted to prove that I can make it a normal monster. Which is funny to me. A normal terrible monster, sorry.
It's a monster. It's a giant. It's a monster. It's a monster.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta rip the fucker's wings off.
Yeah, he
and
does do that.
decapitate, yeah. Or is it episode 3 he decapitates?
Episode 3 is the decapitation. I know this because I was like, oh, I know who directed this, and then I got extremely owned because he did not.
Oh, wow. Nice. Alright, well, is there anything else to say about episode 2?
No.
That is a no.
No.
Shall we move on to episode 3?
Yep.
Go Up in Flames, Terrible Monster Hell.
Yep.
Featuring
Yep.
One-Horned Choju Vakishim. On patrol. This is a Minami episode. On patrol, Minami has to fly weirdly low to avoid a passenger plane and sees a boy on a bridge waving his hat. She does a U-turn to wave back and is shocked to see the sky crack open and a terrible monster appear. It destroys the bridge and the passenger plane. The crew arrives on the scene and mostly berates Minami for clearly making everything up. None of them believe her about the Choju thing, but also none of them ever talk about the fact that the passenger plane got destroyed. Minami is suspended for a week, and Hokuto is told...
Specifically because she did a U-turn to wave at the child.
Yeah.
That seems to be the big thing they're mad about.
Insubordination.
It's insubordination. Hokuto is told, you fly the tack arrow back. And Hokuto's like, okay. This seems like you're all being mean to Minami, but okay. He doesn't say any of that, but he thinks it. I can see it.
Yeah.
Hokuto finds the boy's hat with his name written in it. He was called Shiro, and he lived with his grandparents in a shabby village where basically no one lives. Shiro's grandparents welcome Hokuto in and laugh at him for saying that a monster attacked their grandson, and they make him drink sake. They then watch a family attempt to flee the village, and the old man sings a song about how the village is good and everywhere else is dangerous and evil. And then we hear her scream like the fleeing couple got.
We also cut to the most decrepit ass like hillside like homes falling apart. Mm-hmm. It's good.
Yeah. Shiro appears and confirms everything about Minami's story except the sky cracking and the monster. Shiro then grabs Hokuto's gun when he's not paying attention and shoots at him. Hokuto, like a good Dark Souls player, dodge rolls towards Shiro and snatches his gun back. Shiro flees. Hokuto tries to fly back, but first the sky cracks and the monster appears, and then it disappears. And then Hokuto realizes, oh, I've got no fucking fuel. Why? Shiro sabotaged the arrow. Shiro returns to his home and kills his grandparents, revealing himself to be the Choju, Vakishim. The crew arrives and investigates the burning village. The captain, Hokuto, who has briefly been suspended for
drunk driving,
FUI, flying under the influence. The captain reinstates Hokuto again when he arrives at the village, and makes Hokuto rescue the tack arrow from the suddenly burning tack falcon. This is Shiro's dear.
Or throwing that like Hokuto calls him a payphone. I think he calls Minami on a payphone actually.
Well, he calls.
I guess anything else we can say we just like figure out at the end of the episode.
He calls a couple of people. I brushed over it because otherwise I'd just be talking about everything that happened. Where am I? Shiro appears and turns into Vakishim before the guy who dual wields can go Ibuki mode on this child, which he was gonna. Vakishim causes some havoc and then teleports to the base using the weird sky cracking powers. Minami gets reinstated and launches in an arrow. Minami and Hokuto then reunite in the skies and launch an attack on Vakishim, and their rings flash. They eject and fuse in the air. Ace battles Vakishim and wins using a new shield move at one point. The captain congratulates the crew on their efforts and says the battle will get harder from now on. He sends Minami and Hokuto on patrol. The end. I like this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite of the three.
Fuck up kid.
Yeah, put a fucked up kid in the
terrible monster,
episode,
even.
and we'll have a good time.
A kid who shoots lasers at people, and then that causes them to have a rocket in their necks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Yeah.
this is kind of weird, but I like kind of shat myself a little bit watching this because
Hope cleaned up after.
yes, of course, but the only time I would say I had what like people would call like a night terror as like an adult that I can like remember or like think back on, where I like actually woke up in like cold sweat, like kind of freaked out, was a dream I had one time where the sky cracked open and like the moon got sucked up, and like people were not normal about this and started rioting, and like everyone I knew and loved like fucking died in the chaos. And I like woke up like, oh fuck, that felt super real. Only experience like that I've had as an adult. So like the image of Minami just flying around and the sky cracking, I was just like, oh shit. It was very, very funny coincidence on my end of things.
Damn. The effect is cool. I love the sky cracking. And Monster peeking in, just like, hey yo, how's it going? I'm here to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
So something I haven't talked about, obviously, naturally, we have to do the Thunderbirds check-in. How are the Thunderbirds elements of the show doing? In 1972, they're doing pretty good. We're having a
Jerry Anderson is evidently not giving competition at the moment.
No. He's he was last year. He was UFO wrapped up, and he's now doing the Protectors. UFO, man. Did I ever tell you they got it was Brad that sent me a screenshot that showed that Kogawa pulled from UFO for Ideon Designs.
Yep.
Man, it's fucking everywhere. But yes, the Thunderbird stuff, this time we're doing pretty good. There are certain elements of the launches that have like a much more noticeable sort of sense of weight to them, that I think is I appreciate a lot. Looking forward to it. I think the passenger plane crash is pretty fun. I don't know why it's that low, but it's fine. It's fine. No one cares.
Yeah.
And
Boeing CEO is out here like, listen, it's the monsters.
you ever watch Ultraman? That's what we're having to deal with every day. You try making the plane stay in the air.
This is kind of off topic, but I do have several friends that do work in aviation safety, and I was like, so is the Boeing thing actually a thing to be concerned about? They're like, yes, it is. I was like, oh, okay.
They didn't whack that guy for no reason.
Yeah.
They did what? No, he died. He just died.
Yeah, he died coincidentally when he was going to give testimony the next day.
It's just normal stuff. He was sad.
Yeah, he was sad, even though he said to his family, I'm not going to kill him.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
As always, fucked up kid. We like a fucked up kid.
Yes, and he has Joker face paint.
Yeah.
He does. It's sick.
They just say at the end of the episode, yeah, that the actual kid and his entire family are killed.
Yes, they do. Also, the line delivered when the fucked up child is killing his grandparents. The alien vacuum in disguise as a fucked up child killing his grandparents. The quote he delivers, "Only humans think children have pure hearts," and then he murders them.
So we have seen enough of these episodes. I think maybe the ending of Ultraman traumatizing all those kids was on purpose. I think people making this show...
They just hate kids.
They just hate kids?
They just hate kids.
They got a bone to pick with them.
They want to be Kyle MacLachlan mode all the time.
But yeah, I'm happy this early on we got both the egg episode and the fucked up little monster child episode coming out swinging.
Yeah. Just, you know, get cross them off the list.
And I'm happy that people die. Well, okay, that sounds really weird out of context. But
No. It's fine. It's fine. You're in good company here, Shiki Tono. Please, you know, just tell us how you feel.
I think it's great that there's actual consequences for the alien invasion. That you know, I was about to be like, oh fuck off when they find the so they find the neighbors that are like attempting to leave, and they find them dead, and they're like, oh no, they're dead, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, and then they go attempt to rescue the old couple that we spent most of the episode with, and, like, they make a reference, like, oh, get them out of there. And I was like, there's no fucking way they're going to make it so that they're actually alive. And then they find the bodies burning. Well, like, the bodies aren't burning, but, like, the fire is, like, spreading throughout the house. And they're like, oh, no, they're dead. Let's get the bodies out of there. And I was like, okay, thank fuck. Because I was going to be like, this is really stupid and, like, fangless if they if they try to, like, be like, oh, no, these people that have rockets jutting out of their neck are alive. So I'm happy they got some tooth to the monster, like the threats of the week.
With the beam that puts a rocket in your neck.
Yeah. It's right up there with the beam that makes you take off your clothes.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced when the wife gets shot with it that she actually has a rocket in her neck, like the prop, because she kind of falls and covers that side of her neck in a way that you don't see it. And I was just like, oh, I wonder if, like, they only had the one, or, like, she didn't want to do it. So they just were like, okay, well, we can play around with the camera to make it. I don't know. I could be wrong. I didn't look that closely. It could be there. I could be making shit up. But my one beef with this episode. So you said at the start this is a Minami episode.
Yes, this. I was saying this with some irony.
Yeah, that Hokuto is doing a lot of investigating and solving the problem for the Minami episode.
I was like, well, the second episode is a Hokuto episode, and then the third episode is like, oh, Minami has to overcome her stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go. And then Hokuto overcomes Minami's stuff.
and they try to give her the thing where it's like, oh, well, she has to defend the base and
Return of Ultraman, tell me how you feel about that.
I do like the little moment where Mikawa's like, I'm reinstating you back onto the team.
Yeah, I like that too. It's like she has, maybe it's because she's the only one there, but she's like in a position of authority. That's nice.
Anyone who has ever worked in a job with a weird fucked up hierarchy that is probably too restrictive for its own good has the experience where someone above them goes, listen, we're just going to solve the problem, and if anyone's going to get shit for it, it's going to be me. Go out and do the thing. And that's always a good time. Mm-hmm. As of late, I've had to be that guy a few times.
Damn.
It's worked out so far, but...
wow, what else in this? The terrible monster in this episode.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna figure out between now and next week exactly what I'm calling them. I'm not doing that.
It's funny if you're indecisive.
I mean, I'm gonna be indecisive all season. I'm just gonna switch. I'm gonna do whatever I feel like. But yes, the terrible monster this episode. I thought I liked a lot.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's sick.
Yeah,
I think it's really good.
Do you think Otomo wrote an art? He might be dead at this point, but do you think there was magazine articles at the time breaking down, like, this is why terrible monsters are even worse than the monsters we've seen already?
They're better.
Yeah. Like, I forget where I saw it, but I think I saw it somewhere that's talking about, like, the Yapul is kind of creating these monsters. That's why they're different than, like, the normal kaiju.
So what you're telling me is the Pacific Rim is not a kaiju movie.
It's a terrible monster movie.
It's a Choju movie. Spoilers for Pacific Rim.
I feel okay. If you're listening to this podcast and you have not seen Pacific Rim, one, you've not seen Pacific Rim, and two, you're concerned about Pacific Rim spoilers, please let us know. I am curious if there's anyone listening to this podcast.
Spoilers.
You know what? It's the same.
Spoilers for that literary masterpiece, Pacific Rim.
It's the same guy who watches an episode, then listens to the episode, then pauses the podcast and watches the next episode.
It's the same guy. What's his name?
Same guy. Bert.
Bert. God, Bert.
Bert Doblins.
Oh.
Doblins.
Fuck is his name? Bert Doblins.
I don't know.
Does Bert Doblins listen to American Prometheus?
I think he has relatives that does, so he hears it by proxy, and like the thoughts are getting in there, but like he's a few years out from being an active listener.
Does Jiro Sakata listen to American Prometheus?
Maybe. I think he gets YouTube Shorts and TikTok recommendations of the show.
I see.
Do you think he watches Subway Surfer videos of American Prometheus clips?
It's not woman focused enough for him. It's got to be it's got to be the Andrew Tate stuff for Jiro.
Oh, Jiro.
This could be incomprehensible to anyone who's starting with this episode.
Yeah, so that's the goal of this podcast.
Yes.
is to be like, yeah, welcome. If you're new, hop on, and then just assault them with all the stuff the fake shit that we've built up.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, the Jiro shit's not fake. That boy does hate women.
That kid got some issues. All the way up to the end.
Go, maid Rumiko, adopt a boy that hates women. Normal endings to a TV show.
He's like, I can't fix this one. I'm going off to fucking space. Maybe with your feminine touch, you got something. I don't know.
Don't worry, that's why Ace is here.
That's why, yeah. Minami could fix Jiro.
Jiro's like, they're called the Ultra Brothers.
Yeah. What's this woman doing here? She can't be involved. Alright. Do we have anything more to say about episode 3?
It was directed by our cult hit artist himself, Eizo Yamagiwa. And then written by Shigemitsu Taguchi. Again, familiar names.
Thank you, Cult Man.
So as soon as that fucking beheading happened, I'm like, oh, our boy Nanagase's back.
And it wasn't.
And you know what? This is a pretty good Nanagase episode. Usually sometimes is kind of whatever. And then I looked at who actually did it, and I was like, oh, okay, never mind. It's not Nanagase.
Listen. The Cult Man seems to be pretty good at his job.
Honestly, I did notice that when doing, like, I'm just, like, checking in on, like, the stuff. I have all of these people pulled up in case we needed to, like, reference what else they've done. But, like, let me go through Yamagiwa's shit real quick, because I was like, damn, I do feel like I like more of his episodes than I'd like to admit. Because, like, he did the Spit Out the Stars Dark Monster episode.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Monster Boy was his first one. The Taro Chillis 2-parter.
Also problematic child named Shiro.
Yeah.
That child is. How's that child? Oh, he does kidnap a kid. I forgot he kidnapped a child. The kidnapping that ruins the completely nonsensical with the rest of the episode. The kidnapping.
He did Jiro Rides a.
He did Jiro.
He did Prisma
yeah.
and Jiro Rides a Monster.
That's the real shit. Those 2 episodes.
Yeah. God.
I would go so far as to say that the Prisma episode is the it's in the top 5 of Return of Ultraman.
It's absolutely in the top 3 for me. Even I love that episode.
Maybe they should have had Shin Kishida write more episodes.
Maybe they should have employed more cultists.
Yeah. You know,
which is what this guy did eventually.
Can't co-sign the legal defense of a mass murderer and trying to make a shell computer repair company to hire cultists who can't find work anymore.
We're lucky Ishiro Honda is not doing so many work at these episodes.
Oh man, that was yeah. It was wild. To the first episode of our Return of Ultraman coverage opens with me going, "Yo, we found out some shit about Ichiro Honda."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mel.
Yeah. Again, Gucci design. I already said this stuff. To avoid redundancy, but apparently some people have noticed with Bakujin, similar design sensibilities as Mechagodzilla that Gucci would eventually do, with just with a triangular head, the neck shape.
I could see it.
He said, "Oh, it's a coincidence. Don't worry about it." There's another Murase/20 sculpting work. Apparently the spines were made from bath mats. And also the suit was so big they had to send it from the workshop to the set in pieces. And also here's the original design for the kaiju. Because this is a draft design.
Ooh, it's hairy.
Hairy?
Look, it's got hair.
Oh, it's got some, it's got some hair. Yeah,
it's got pit hair.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that poking through. Just bad vibes.
Yeah, that's okay. Then the final design's better, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So far, I'll see how it goes, but I've seen Japanese Wikipedia makes a point of saying when 20 does the design. I'm going to assume based on nothing. So don't blame me if it's misinformation. I just gonna assume Keizo Kamai does the other ones. But we'll see.
Okay.
I will make a note of what is stated.
Alrighty then. Is that everything about I was going to say Return of Ultraman again.
Let's go!
Yeah.
Ultraman has returned. Somehow.
Yeah, that is true. That did happen.
Yeah, and he brought friends.
He brought friends.
God, it's going to be so awesome when in 10 years they make Return of Zoffy, finally.
God.
He did return this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't, he never, started. He's just there sometimes. Will they ever make a Zoffy show?
No.
I want to hold out hope.
They can't make a Zoffy. They can't make a Zoffy show. Is the thing.
Wait. I know how to Ultra Series watch order Google Sheets. Control F. Zoffy. Oh dear, no, they ain't making one of these.
Brad, I want you to reduce what you've searched for there to Z or Z.
Ooh.
In your country.
Well, this is just pulling up the results for anything that has a Z.
Oh well, it's a little fucked then. Is there an Ultraman Z?
There's an Ultraman Trigger episode Z. I almost said Z. Wait, Z and Zero voice drama.
Oh.
There's an Ultraman Z. Ooh, okay.
There we go. There we go.
That's our boy. That's going to be the Zoffy show.
That's going to be the Zoffy show.
Oh, well, actually, hold on. There's Ultraman Zoffy, which I don't know why it didn't pull up in our... I don't know why it didn't pull up the first time I typed it in. I must have mistyped. There is an Ultraman Zoffy movie in 1984.
Ooh.
That's a compilation movie, though.
Is it a compilation of all the times he's appeared?
I don't know about that.
It takes that long until he's appeared enough for a movie.
I don't know if that's...
We'll watch that between Ultraman Kids M7.8 Seino Yukai Nakama and Ultraman Story and Ultraman Kids Proverb Stories. What the fuck is this?
Some of those don't have subs, is the thing.
Okay.
Ultraman Kids.
I also don't know if we'd even watch the
Ultraman
compilation movies anyway.
Ultraman Kids. Yeah. What would Ultraman Zoffy be a compilation movie of if not the times that Zoffy has appeared?
I don't know, to be honest.
Anyway. Regardless, we are clearly done talking about Ultraman Ace. Yes, Brad.
There's a show called Ultraman Kids 3000 Light Years in Search of Mother.
That's the one you have on DVD.
Wait, is that?
Yes.
Hold on, let me pull this fucker out. I don't think I ever... Oh my god, you're right. I never read the subtitle. I just read Ultraman Kids.
3,000 light years in search of mother.
See, my DVD says 30 million light years.
Oh
in
my
search
god.
Of mother. That's a long time to search for mom.
Yeah.
Well, light years is distance.
That's true.
They might travel faster than light. I see.
The problem with running faster than light is you're always in the darkness.
Yeah.
People be out here doing shit for mommy.
Yeah.
Twitter tells me so.
I didn't need Twitter telling me that. I could have just watched Advent Children.
Or Shaw's
Yeah,
camera.
Which I did do.
Yeah.
Or, literally any... You know what? People talk up people talk up the Shah wanting a mommy GF as though that's not, like, every Gundam protagonist.
No, but I'm making a statement with my thing about Char.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
That is all we have for Ultraman Ace,
I
clearly.
have color timers.
Oh, color timers. Yes. Hit us with the color timers.
I do like how I feel like this is the first show where we have not gotten the narrator in the first couple
Telling
episodes
us about
being
the color
like,
timer.
yeah, it's just known.
But
At this point.
Does the 3-minute limit count then?
Is it 6 minutes because there's two of them?
Jiro would say it's actually 1.5 minutes because there's a woman.
Oh no!
Damn.
Anyway. Numbers aside.
They fuse and it only
thoughts.
lasts 90 seconds. Wow. It's,
90 seconds of transit.
90 seconds of something, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Episode 1, 3 minutes, 16 seconds.
Failed by 16 seconds.
Episode 2, 2 minutes, 25 seconds.
Okay.
Episode 3, 1 minute, 45 seconds.
Oh, nice. Nicely done.
That's your
That's the
that's
best.
your 90 seconds there.
Yeah, that's the best we're going to do. Ever, probably.
Yeah.
Well, there was one time when Ultraman showed up again in Return of Ultraman. There was like 3 seconds.
This is true. And then
You had to detransform to do that really awkward handshake.
Yeah. Really good handshake. I really like how they filled the bottom corner of the screen. All right.
Somehow we don't have emails this week.
We don't have any emails. Thank you, Cydrixa, for we'll take a break. I guess that's the fucking show. I guess that's the show. We covered We covered the first 3 episodes of Ultraman Ace. We are going to be covering 3 episodes every week until we're done, except 1 week where we're going to do 4. Other things of note, we decided last week, and please pull up my calendar. Desktop? Please? Desktop?
I was like, do you have a fucking secretary? Who are you talking to?
What is wrong with my fucking computer right now? I can't pull up my calendar. Can someone pull up their calendar and tell me what date we're doing?
I think we decided it was 2 weeks from now we do the...
Is it not the 28th?
28th is where I think we're recording the Mirror Man
There
thing.
we go. There we go. The 28th.
2 weeks from today for us.
That's anything to the audience because we don't record. We don't do this live.
This is true. I need to investigate what's up with my computer because my microphone has acted up and now my calendar won't open.
It's the goblins.
It's the goblins.
It's goblins.
So, in the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so at ultra_Q. That is at ultra_QUEUE. I am also on Twitter. I'm at gender_redacted. And that's me, Mal.
Hi, you can follow me at DeCrowns on the places. We have an email, ultqpod@gmail.com. We have the fund, coffee, ultq fund, for presumably subtitle eventually work. I'm trying. Also, because we joked about it but didn't talk about it much, we did switch hosts to Acast.
Mm-hmm.
presumably to escape the tyranny of Spotify.
I can put in any music I want.
Yeah. Like, obviously our podcast is still on Spotify at the moment, but it does mean that if Spotify decides to alien black us, the podcast will still exist for listening.
Yeah.
Forewarning to people, because a lot of people still listen to us on Spotify as default because we were on there, but now, now you know in advance.
So, first episode of this show, weirdly orphan focused. So I know what I'm doing for the ED. There we go.
Oh, okay, you're just having your personal freedom then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brad.
Yeah, you can find me at Twitter at B_invoked. You can also find me on YouTube. That's Canopus Invoke. Mel and I still streaming Tales of the Abyss, and hopefully get back to that soonish. And I am hoping. I recently quit my Pathfinder Kingmaker game because schedules just got busy and we were not meeting as much as I would have liked to. So I was just like, yeah, I think I'm going to call it here. That hopefully will free up more time for me to do stuff with the channel. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, sick. Well, join us next time for 3 more episodes of Ultraman Ace. Bye for now.
Goodbye.
Later.
Be